This episode of the Co-optional Podcast is proudly sponsored by Squarespace. Whether you need a domain name, website, or online store, make your next move with squarespace.com/cooptional. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Co-optional Podcast here on the 5th of December, 2017.
Oh, wow.
Hello.
Oh.
Hello to everybody.
Hello.
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 Hi.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Bonjour.
This is how we do social interaction in the land of
just a
YouTube.
second.
I gotta go.
Hello?
Hello.
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 It's very natural, like, as well-developed adults would do.
Yeah.
We're a good
As
example.
people who have spent a great deal of time in the social scene.
Yes.
Were you people?
Hello.
Where am I?
What is this?
No one really knows at this
This
point.
isn't a video game.
No. Far more serious than that. Because, of course, the Co-optional Podcast is brought to you by squarespace.com/cooptional. 10% of your first order and a free trial. If you head on over to squarespace.com/cooptional, you want to build a website and you have absolutely no skills of any kind, you could do that.
Damn.
You can. It is doable. It is possible. It is achievable. We'll tell you how a little later on in the show. Welcome to the Co-optional Podcast. We do occasionally talk about video games. Our returning an esteemed guest, the godfather of Let's Play himself, Mr. Slowbeef. Welcome back to the show.
Hi, how are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. How's the Sprog doing?
I have two of them now, actually.
Indeed, yes,
I
they
have
have
a
multiplied.
I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. My 3-year-old's into video games now, kind of. She likes Trumpet Game, Kirby Game, and Painting Game, which are Anticipation, Mario Paint, and any of the Kirby's I can find at the time.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So
Those
she
are
plays them for
reasonable.
like 5 seconds and then runs and plays with the toy instead.
Sure.
And
Right,
Yes.
of course.
I have to yell at her, because I don't want her using her imagination. I want her
No,
playing.
you don't want to grow. You don't want her growing up like a filthy casual. You need to get her
No.
started early on this stuff.
I want to get her streaming and making dad money ASAP
Yes,
is the
obviously,
thing. Okay, the two
yeah.
of them. Fucking pull their weight around here, Jesus.
Indeed,
Ridiculous.
it's a disgrace, really.
No,
All of that
I
potential,
think so.
opportunity,
Mhm.
wasted because they don't have any vision, no
I
ambition.
remember the last time I was on here, I brought my infant daughter up to the camera. I won't be doing that this time. Brought my infant daughter up to the camera, and somebody complained. By the way, I just want
Of
to
course.
say,
Of course they do.
yeah, they're like, come
Welcome
on,
to
this
the
is-
internet.
it's like this is about video games. It's like it was 30 seconds, okay?
It's about video game. You're listening to the wrong show.
Nearly-
If you
Nearly every 4 episodes or so, somebody has an animal and we all coo over the animal for a couple seconds. But apparently a baby is
Not
too
me.
fucking far.
Too
That's
much.
a step too
far
far.
too much.
I remember when
Really?
this was about video games. Not me.
I remember when it was about a sense of pride and accomplishment.
I
This
did.
podcast.
That
Never. That was never a thing.
You're right, actually. Yeah, I really only feel that way when the paycheck comes in from the show. That is it, honestly.
I refuse to watch this podcast, and I know it's a lie.
I don't blame
That's-
you.
That's fine.
Mhm.
Get it.
You know, a long time ago, when I took podcasting seriously, I remember doing a sort of 45-minute of do's and don'ts of how to podcast. It was all from doing all of this stuff in the WoW radio days and learning it as we went, because podcasts didn't even exist when we started doing our thing. And they sort of got a name as we were doing. It's like, oh yeah, that's got a name now, cool. And you can put them places and you can download them automatically. And it's like, these are the set of rules that you should follow to make sure that your podcast is good. And since then, I've abandoned pretty much every single one of them. And I just don't care anymore. And that's...
I had I had you on my podcast once. It was like the first time I like branched out and like.
Oh yeah, Retsu Talk, yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because you had this really great sound quality and you processed everything, and I sounded like I was coming out of a McDonald's drive-through during it. So there's this like awesome disparity there that is pretty much unlistenable whenever you're not speaking. Thanks, but you got me a new microphone. So, I mean, you didn't buy it. I was like, I think I need.
He bought it
right
for
now.
you.
Yeah, he all right. He
Sugar Daddy TB.
He set me up with this whole house,
Make
all
daddy
the games,
money.
everything.
It's a long-term investment.
Right? Yeah,
That's all
you're
I'm
waiting
saying.
for that to pay out. I'm sure.
Yeah. I'll be waiting a while, but that's the way it goes. God, yeah. I remember back then just trying to find any information on how to make yourself sound good in any way online was just a crapshoot. This was before the days of USB microphones that just kind of did everything for you. And I remember just having a graveyard of crappy equipment, like bad USB interfaces, bad sound cards. It's like a $40 compressor or something that just sounded like absolute shite. And I was continually buying gear back then, not realizing that because I was just buying a bunch of cheap gear that was slightly newer, it wasn't actually helping in any way. And I really wasn't upgrading anything, and I was sort of convinced myself, no, this sounds so much better, it sounds so much better. It's like, no, it really doesn't, actually. Not in the slightest.
I'm totally tenured. You could just tell me anything, and I would just buy it and be like, yeah, it sounds great, whatever. I don't know, but that's just me.
If we actually put more effort into this show, as we could do in theory, we could have everybody here record locally and process everything. The main problem you get with that is because everyone uses relatively different equipment and is in a different environment, the disparity is actually so bad that it sounds worse than
either way. It would be somewhat awful, right?
Oh my God, is that true? I've been doing that for another podcast. Maybe I should stop. And okay, all right.
I mean, if you have similar levels of equipment and things like that, but it's when one guy has much better setup than everybody else, and it's already kind of bad because you guys are coming through voice over IP, and I'm going directly into XSplit. So there's already a disparity between me and the rest of you, but because the rest of you are going through the same VoIP client, it at least sounds roughly the same quality-wise, so it's not too bad. But I remember there were times when we used to do that old recording method, when I would do like interviews with WoW Radio and stuff, and it would be some guy who just for that interview had bought a $5 headset or whatever from Walmart, and like they'd send me the audio. I don't know what to do with this. We should have just done this over a phone. It would have actually sounded better. Be careful in that pursuit of quality, folks.
It's funny. Speaking of quality, I decided to wear something special for this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
For the old days of Let's Play.
I still have my unregistered Hypercam 2 hoodie.
Yes. They're not in print. Well, this one's not in
now.
print anymore. We don't sell it anymore.
Hyper rare. How many of those did you sell? Come on.
No, I'm kidding.
I bought one of them.
You bought one. Yeah.
I did.
We
I
sold
bought one.
An okay run. I mean, like for like some like low level YouTuber or whatever, but I just like that was back in the day when I did merch. I would like manually mail it to people and like put it in the package and everything like that.
To be fair, that's the way to make a decent margin. If you're a small, here's a little bit of YouTube advice from people who are very old and have done the YouTubes for a long time. If you are a small channel and you look at merch like, oh, I should do Teespring or, God forbid, Cafe Press or something like that, you are literally better off ordering, in bulk, maybe 20 shirts or whatever at the price it costs to print them and then shipping them out. It'll take more time, but you will make some actual money.
That is true.
All right, now let me give,
any of these
let
other
me give
companies
you a little bit of advice, okay? The smart thing to do is you take a shirt that's not for sale, that nobody can buy, that you can't make money off of, then you appear on the big podcast and show it.
Yes,
so you
exactly.
make nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Indeed.
Some people say do it to merch that you have, so people will buy it.
Like this, for instance. But my current version's even better because it's more red, because we improved the print quality that you can find at TotalBiscuit.shop. Thank you very much.
Wait, I could buy that?
Yes, you absolutely could. Incredible, isn't it?
It's amazing. It's like I'm making money.
What's on your cup?
This is a Star Wars cup. It's like the biggest cup
That's some
I have.
high quality merch.
It's
I guess I'm trying to be able to tell if it's a holiday Star Wars cup.
It is.
Or-
It has snowflakes. That's what they did to it.
Cool, great.
Yep.
Just double checking. There was a
Yeah,
lot
no.
of red involved, and I just wanted to be sure that I saw what I saw.
No, it is very much Star Wars snowing. So therefore Christmas.
Cool.
I've been trying to avoid all the Star Wars stuff. I'm going to be honest.
Like trailers and things.
Yeah. I looked like a bit of an idiot during the showing of Thor Ragnarok, because right before that, they had the full-length Last Jedi trailer. So I covered my eyes and stuck my fingers in my ears, trying to avoid... And it didn't matter. It was a massive, great, stonking theater, pumping out 100 decibels of whatever surround sound system they use these days. Like, I'm just like, la, 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 not listening. Yes, there'll be Star Wars-y things, and there'll be lightsabers, and I don't want to know! I don't want to know anything.
There's no lightsabers in this one.
Oh. Huh.
Sorry.
Okay. I'll be all right, I guess.
Spoilers.
Spoilers, no lightsabers in Star Wars.
Yeah, it's called The Last Jedi because there's nothing left.
Well, they replaced all the characters with those porgs, right? For merchandising purposes. That's my understanding of it.
Mm-hmm. She just thinks really hard at people.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Once the Corruptional Podcast, we do occasionally talk about video games. Very occasionally. Oh, man. We're coming towards the end of the year. Our fake awards show, the Co-opties, which usually goes on over 2 episodes, will be starting on the 12th of December. And then we'll have another episode on the 19th. So do tune in for that. We will be making up all manner of categories, no doubt.
It's going to be good shit.
It'll be good. Yeah. We'll outdo ourselves this year. I can guarantee it. None of you believe me. I'm getting
I can't wait.
I'm getting no support.
That was really like putting us on a pedestal that I don't think we deserve.
No. No. It is awful. I look at the way the other big gaming podcast works. Like, yes, our awards process goes on over the course of 2 weeks with 8-hour discussions on a daily basis. And now, like, well, we make up some categories like best use of a dinosaur and most waifu potential, and that's how we do our awards, because the video game industry is very... Yes, I agree. The video game industry is a very serious place.
Don't contradict it, Jesse.
Don't. That's why I need your support on this, Jesse.
That's why we really kill it in the end of the year award game.
That we do. No one has ever said otherwise up to this point.
No. Every single person who's ever watched it has said, wow, this was a good use of my time. So...
Yes. That's actually exactly what they say in uniform at the end.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You see a lot of it in chat just happening all at the same time, and you feel like there's something weird going on there, but you don't really question it because it like feels good.
Right.
So.
This is the best use of my time.
Apparently, Jesse thinks arguing against it is not the best use of his time. So
I can't argue against it. I just won't. I'm not gonna.
Well, you better bring some damn good categories next week. That's all I'm saying.
I won't.
You got to bring all the story stuff because I don't care about that.
Just think of games that you love. Horizon. Just think of games that you love, and then come up with a dumb category. Come up with a category that it can definitely win. Best
use of Aloy in a video game goes to my dreams.
Cuphead, I believe, isn't it?
Best game that rhymes with Banganrampa.
Yeah. Now you're thinking.
There you go. Now you're thinking with portals. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's a freebie.
I like it.
Thank you. What
have we been playing this week? Over the last couple of weeks, or whatever you would like. Mr. Beef.
I have been playing a game called Monolith, which I love to pieces.
You have been hyping this game the entire year. You've been talking a lot about this one.
Yeah, actually, and I full disclosure, I had the devs came into my stream and talked to me for a bit and stuff, but they're like really nice guys. It's like 3 guys who decided, they looked at the Binding of Isaac and said, what if we made this like good? And it's very action. It's like Binding of Isaac, but it feels less like a slot machine. It's a dungeon crawler where you're flying spaceships and it's like bullet hell and stuff, but the weapons are really creative. The enemies are really creative. They like vary from like kind of cutesy and spritey to like really like dark and sinister. It's just really well done. You can just play it for like, you just lose. It's one of those games you lose track of time on because you do like run after run after run, and it never feels unfair. You never get like too crazy overpowered, but you still have those fun RNG runs where it's like you get some like triple homing laser that just like melts through energy bars and stuff. I'm a big shmup person and bullet hell person. That's like totally my jam. So this is like roguelike without being obnoxious or procedural generated, really, you know. I love it to pieces. It has so much charm and everything, and I wish it got more exposure. And that's the only reason I came here. So
is to evangelize for Monolith.
Yes, this is the best use of my time. So
I think, I mean, I'm looking at it and I'm, you know, obviously thinking one of the main reasons why it probably didn't get a huge amount of attention is that its look, you know, I mean, it looks Commodore 64-esque, you know, a very old DOS game.
They went for that kind of look. Yeah, exactly. When you get to like bosses and stuff, it gets more actiony and a little more grander scale, kind of, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. Yeah. It's one of those things you look at and you're kind of like, I don't know. But if you give it a shot, it's like just tons of fun and stuff. And usually like when I play it on stream, like the big chat message is like, thank you for this because I started playing it and I love it now. So I have a contest. I have like a thing whenever I meet up with like Matt or Wooly, you know, from This is me dropping now.
Yeah.
But we try to figure out a game.
Oh, you know, you're in high society now. I see. Yes.
That's me saying like I hang with people. Okay. I'm like one of those hanger on people. Like, you know, it's like, oh, who the fuck invited Slowbeef? But still, but we try to like pick a game that like neither of us had played or something that's like some weird indie thing that you think the other person will like. And Monolith is like the one I'm holding on to for when I meet them next time. Basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more I watch of this, the more, you know, what you first said about that. The devs like, we want to make Binding of Isaac book good, which obviously will trigger quite a few people in the chat. But
that was my joke, but not the devs. But...
Oh, okay, right. Don't blame the devs. Entirely his fault then. But I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, you know, why did I not like Binding of Isaac? Well, there's two reasons. One, I really don't like the aesthetic. That's a very personal, subjective thing. I just don't like its obsession with fecal matter. I don't like the sort of twisted fetus thing that's going on with it. It's, you know, it's just not to my taste, right? You know?
No, I totally feel you on that. I don't like poop in my games either. It's just me.
Generally not. Not into that. No. But the other part of it, and this is the bit that really drives me mad, is just how basic the combat is out of the box. And yeah, I'm aware that once you get the right combination of items, things become a little crazy, but it's still mostly about shooting a very, very basic projectile. I'm getting a bit more out of this from watching. This is from your first stream, I think, that you ever did of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the thing about Isaac too, because I did get into Isaac and I did the Lost run, and the Lost is really eye-opening in terms of the game is a little more slot machine-y than it first appears. Not like totally, of course, not like, you know, but you really you start to realize like this is really RNG heavy. If there's some runs you'll do in Isaac and you're like, I can't do anything with this. This is just
it's unsalvageable.
It's like, yeah, or there's gonna be a 90-minute slog where I'm just like plinking away at boss.
Some people quite like that.
I have not had a run like that at all.
It's interesting to hear that because I think that's the appeal of Isaac to a lot of people. Just how slot machine it is, because I mean that is a ton of variety, especially with the amount of content they've added. But I remember Gungeon in particular, and some people complaining about that. And Gungeon, you can do incredibly well with just the starter weapons, but some people still argued, oh, there's a big slot machine element to Gungeon. If you don't get the right weapon in the first couple of levels, you're boned, which I don't think is necessarily true. It's just the problem wasn't that it was unbeatable. It's what you just said there. It turned the run into a slog. If you didn't have interesting weapons, you could do it. It's just you didn't fucking want to. You know, it dragged on forever. The boss fights were lengthy, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that in both games, that potential is there for you to be like, I can do this, but it isn't fun.
Right.
You know?
You've played a pretty significant amount of both, haven't you?
The play to be really, really fun because your weapons are cool or the items you've picked up are cool and the way that they combine together is like interesting, right? And that's what you want each time you play. And when you've gotten that in the past and you don't get it on a playthrough, it's like boring, you know?
Yeah, I think if I go back and look through all of the roguelites I've played, Ziggurat's still pretty high up there, because I always found those runs interesting because it started you off with always with a cool weapon of some sort. And it you know, it ramped your power up pretty fast. And I thought the pacing was dead on in that game, as opposed to quite a few others. Dead Cells is the same. I mean, Dead Cells ramps the power up nice and quick as well. But I heard they've completely redone that in the latest update. Like,
yeah, I haven't played it since they updated it. Apparently, yeah, they've changed quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm intrigued.
I've heard not great things from the latest update, but I haven't played it myself.
No, that game was so fun.
I liked it a lot. Yeah, totally. I heard it's just sort of like they need to tweak the numbers or something. Like some stuff is just too powerful or it's too damaging.
Yeah, well, I know that when I first played it, if I had like 2 bleeding weapons, I was way too powerful.
Bleeding was broken initially. I remember that was one of the first things that they hit on the head big time with a Nerf bat. Of course, the issue with a game like that is it's in early access.
Yeah.
It's subject to change, but there's a lot of people playing it. It's like what they did with Darkest Dungeon. They had a lot of early access success, and in the time when this is the time when it was supposed to be changing things, they then changed something and upset a shit ton of people and caused a massive backlash. I mean, I remember how bombed Darkest Dungeon got on the reviews after they made the corpse change. Yeah,
which is so stupid because most people play with corpses now because they've realized it's not a big fucking deal.
Yeah, I much prefer it.
I can see how like early access is really good in terms of getting a lot of data really fast, and also getting money to fund the rest of the production of your game. But like at the same time, you suddenly have so many people who are like, I paid for this early access experience and you will hear what I have to say.
And you changed what I bought. And like, well, that is what early access is supposed to be for.
This is for.
But I think it's just the way that early access has worked out over the last few years. A lot of people don't really understand that anymore because a lot of these games come out in early access just like, well, we're not really going to make any significant changes. We just happen to have launched in early access for whatever reason because we want to get money quicker. They're not going to make massive changes to the game. I mean, fuck. Imagine what would happen if they did a massive change to PUBG. Like, something significant mechanically. There would be a worldwide riot. They're not in any position where they could possibly do that. Yeah, pretty much. I think that's probably why they're trying to get out of early access as early as they are, despite the fact that they're clearly not ready. That game's still busted performance-wise. We had the interesting news that was quickly retracted by the guy that developed it. It's like, yeah, it's going to run at 60 FPS on Xbox One X. And then about 30 minutes later, it's like, no, guys, it's going to run at 30 on all Xboxes.
Just kidding.
Like,
I don't know who tweeted that yet.
It was the lead dev. It was fucking PlayerUnknown, I believe, that said it. I'm like, how the fuck are you going to get that to happen? Have you seen how it runs on PCs? No. It's balked.
Some people are saying that they're potentially leaving early access, but will stay in beta.
That doesn't make any fucking sense.
What does that mean?
It doesn't mean anything, does it, at that point? I mean, it's the Warframe situation, I think. Warframe is still technically in beta.
Is it really?
Yes, technically. But
like
that doesn't mean...
7 years in?
At that point, it doesn't mean anything, does it?
No.
At that point, it means nothing.
But I thought like beta is like supposed to be feature complete. Like everything, like pretty much the major pieces we want to put in are there and we can do it and stuff. I mean, I guess you can just call it anything, but ridiculous.
Well, like, yeah, we've talked about alpha versus beta and all of that stuff on here not too long ago. And the determination was definitely, and I think most of us even got emails from devs confirming this, that it's like they don't necessarily mean anything anymore when you're talking to consumers. You know, like the layman doesn't know what that means. So it's just kind of like, we're in beta, which means
not anymore.
People can play it. You know, it's like, okay, people can play it, but we're not released.
Well,
and that's all that it means.
It's also down to the fact that, you know, over the past few years, the way that games have been released and then content has been added to them has been changed fundamentally because of digital delivery. There's now an expectation that your game comes out and you support it with content for a very long time. And if you don't, then people may very well just go elsewhere. a lot of the health of the game really comes down to that. And obviously some of that can be paid, but there's an expectation by a lot of people, oh, there's got to be free updates. And maybe a lot of that expectations come from the free-to-play model, which lives or dies on the back of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So beta doesn't really mean much. You know, these games as a service, I guess, you could treat them like that, or just like most games just don't, they're not finished, and they probably never will be.
I work in software dev, not game dev, and we talk a lot about like alpha, beta, and release candidate. But every place I've worked, it's always different. Like everyone just has their own definitions, and it's basically just like, you know, whatever. It's Greek. Who knows?
Well, I think it's when beta a few years ago really became demo.
Yeah.
It was, it was back in the, and it was actually even further back than that, because I remember it was the File Planet days when beta was becoming demo. It's like, wow, I got access to a beta. Like that at that point sounded like, ooh, this is, it's like being part of a secret club. In reality, it was a demo for the game, basically. Mm-hmm. And that's all it's really been ever since.
But yeah, no, it was nice those days when you got like the exclusive thing. I remember, or you know, when you're doing like the YouTube stuff and like you get that dev who like reaches out to you the first time and you're like, oh my gosh, this is great, I made it, and then you find out you were on like some mailing list and they had like 1,000 people. But
always stings like, it was not as exclusive as I thought.
I thought I was special. I mean, I didn't think that, but I would presume.
Jesse, what you been playing this week? We must know. The world demands to know.
I mean, truthfully, not much. I have been trying to do a million other things than playing games, but I listening to your conversation, I just went on to go look and see what was being played right now on just early access. And first off, I love it. There's an early access tab on Steam. Quality. But more importantly, like, I don't want to shit on the platform we're on right now, but I have very strong feelings about Twitch and what it does to perpetuate the early access phenomenon.
Okay.
Based on the desire, I'm trying to be diplomatic and not poop where I make money. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
I don't make any money here, so I'm fine to like just shit all over Twitch if you want. I can say those. I can be your mouthpiece.
I don't mind doing that anyway. I think it's reasonable.
The culture of Twitch is very much like on to the next thing very quickly, unless they're being paid not to do that. But like games, like watching people cycle through games as quickly as humanly possible. Like, look, I got to beat this thing in the next 12 hours because, you know, I need to finish it and be the first. Like, that shit drives me crazy.
But that's been a YouTube thing too.
Yeah. That was.
Well, there's definitely people like Rad Brad who just have the game is done on his channel before it releases. And you're like, how the fuck that even happened?
Well, you know, it happened. He has deals to get these things early from people.
Understandable, but like, why as a game company would you be like, here, upload the entire game before it releases? Like, that's bonkers.
I always thought Rad Brad had some connection, like he worked at a game store or something. So he was breaking street date by recording it before the release and then releasing it like pretty much as soon as embargo's over. That was my theory.
I mean, I can't imagine he's doing that these days, considering the numbers he pulls in, but it's hard to say.
I think on Twitch, at least for me, because I don't give a shit about like being the first person to finish a game. I rarely ever finish a game anyway, unless it's, you know, like a 6 to 10 hour game. But it's very palpable when your audience is bored, when they don't want to watch that game anymore. And then you're like, fuck, I have to find something new to play.
But that's the crazy, like, I get that's the hustle of like, well, I got to keep my numbers up and I got to do this. But at the same time, over the last 2 months, I've seen more than my fair share of Twitch friends burn the fuck out. And everyone is chasing after the fact of like, well, like, 12 games came out this week, so I got to play like every single one, or I got to find out what the biggest game is. I got to play that. And that's how shit like PUBG ends up being really, really popular when it's not even a finished game, where it's like, well, the kids like this shit, so I got to keep playing it. And it's like, but okay. I don't know. I just don't like the culture. I think it's exploitative as fuck. That's just me.
I agree with, sorry.
No, sorry. Keep going.
I was gonna say, no, I totally agree with you. And like, and it did happen on YouTube too. And you'd call them like day one Let's Plays or even day zero if people managed to like pirate it or figure out some way to get it early and stuff. Like Dark Souls 3, I think accidentally released on Japanese Xbox Live 1. So people kind of like got it early and then just played it, you know, and put it up there because there are people who will watch it. And it's like a cycle because you do get views out of it. So then you figure out, how do I beat the next person to the punch? And you end up with this like cost benefit thing where it's like, I'm just going to spit out recordings as fast as humanly possible. Yeah. I'm not even going to take any time to look at the game, figure out how I feel about it. It's just going to be stream of consciousness, boom, 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 pretty much vlog over game footage. And there you have it.
I think that it's so funny that we're talking about this in regards to PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds because there are so many people who have done, again, what happened on YouTube a lot, which is like, I am a PUBG streamer now. This is all that I will play until I kick the bucket, right? Like there are people who are doing what a lot of people did with StarCraft, which was just like, all right, I am Cuta Lily StarCraft, and that's my YouTube, and I will play StarCraft forever. And then, you know, there obviously comes a time when they're like, man, I would like to play other things. And their audience is like, no.
Oh, yeah. Getting stuck in that rut is a
and
potential nightmare.
That's where some people are at with PUBG right now.
And it's not even just the case of...
can't play anything else.
It's not even the case of just that. I mean, I think that on Twitch in particular, you're going to get X number of big streamers that are going to establish themselves. They're going to be good. Their name's going to get around, like with PUBG. You know, the biggest streamers are Shroud, Dr. Disrespect, you know, and a couple of others.
Slowbeef.
No, definitely not Corendor. Absolutely not Corendor. And they're going to be sitting pretty on a lot of viewers, and they can keep playing that game for a long time and make good money off it. And it helps that they're very, very good, or that they happen to have just cornered the market on a particular game. And then a lot of people try, you know, when they think it's the next big thing, and then they're like, right, okay, I tried, I wasn't able to get to the top or near the top, so I'm going to switch to something else. I think, you know, on Twitch, you have different kinds of streamers. You know, you have competitive streamers who are people that play certain games competitively and generally very good at it. You know, if you look at Twitch right now, PUBG's one, you see Shroud at 30,000 viewers. You know?
The best Hearthstone streamers.
Like the best Hearthstone streamer
are like the ones that are actually really good at Hearthstone.
Generally, yeah, you know, or have an extremely fun personality. Or in, you know, some cases are able to combine both. You know, Dr. Disrespect combines a entertaining persona with also being very good at the game. League of Legends, you know, right now you got I Am Cutie Pie at the top. League of Legends stupidly competitive when it comes to streaming. So a lot of people have just sort of dropped out. They've dropped out of streaming entirely. And then you have people who've had on the show, Lyric, who is very much a variety streamer, Ko, who's very much a variety streamer of primarily single-player stuff. And
both of them plan out way in advance every single game
absolutely
that they play and when.
Yeah, I remember trying to schedule Lyric's podcast and when he could appear, and it was based almost entirely around which games were coming out that week, because he had laid this out weeks and weeks in advance. I think the people who are just jumping on it without any plan are the guys who are not going to succeed. And
I don't have a plan ever.
When it comes to the big variety streamers, I think there's also an expectation amongst their audience that these guys are going to play the latest and greatest. You know, see, whenever Lyric tweets, go look at his replies, you'll always see a lot of them like, oh, you're going to play this when it comes out? You're going to play that when it comes out? When are you going to play this? You know, his audience is actively engaged in saying, I want to see you as a personality play the latest thing. I want to
see you play.
Yeah.
The big conversation that's been happening ever since IRL became a category is, so when are streamers supposed to stop streaming?
That's
like that winds up being that winds up being the problem, right? Jesse, what were you going to say?
Nothing. I think the idea of when you look at YouTube was I made a video, and it usually was either here's my life or I played a game and did silly voices over it, or like right, but there was a switch. There's a button you can press to turn off and decompress and walk away. And with streaming, the more time that goes on, the more it's either I need to do the latest greatest, I need to constantly be streaming, or when I'm doing real life stuff, I need to let them, like, you see people do things for attention that you're just like, what is happening right now? And it's insane because people just, it's the illusion, the delusion, whatever it is, that they're like, this is a huge issue I have, that they are like filling the void inside themselves with the love of people on the internet who are like, yo, we want videos, bro. And it's like, I got you. I'm going to make you happy. But like, are themselves fucking just going down in flames.
Oh, yeah.
And I see it happening way too much lately. And I'm like,
IRL in particular.
Yes.
IRL is such a fucking drama fest, seemingly all the time. And
I just use it to sit in my chair and drink coffee.
But you, my dear, are an aberration. You are like a different level, because you are, strangely enough, out of everyone I know, maybe one of the most put together people. like, it's true. But like a lot of other people, and this goes to all assets of internet influencer / stardom / whatever, a lot of people are doing it because like they need someone to tell them that they're awesome. Like, let's be real. That's a lot of what this is.
Every one of us has some part in ourselves that wants that, right? Because we wouldn't be in this business otherwise.
Well, also, I think something that keeps happening as well is bigger streamers are asked like, oh, who's another streamer that you really admire? And it always comes down to, I really admire this streamer because they stream 16 hours a day, every day. They never stop hustling. And then people hear that and they're like, fuck, I gotta stream 16 hours a day every day. And it's like, you don't have to do that. Like, take care of yourself, spend time with your family, eat a meal once. Like, come on. It's just, yeah, Jesse's right. A lot of the streamers that we know don't take very good care of themselves, and it's kind of sad. It
drives me crazy and then game companies see that cycle and they feed into it now because they're like, well, now I gotta like, and it just keeps perpetuating over and over again, and watching it happen get worse and worse over the course of this year is just like, holy fuck, how did we even get here? And of course, because there's the crazy phenomenon of like, as winter sets in, people start to get a little depressed. That's just like a natural thing. You start to see your friends get really down and you're just like, yo, take a week off for yourself. But then you realize that, and this is something that I know is the case for a lot of streamers, probably even you, Dodger, which is like, you take a week off, you're losing subs. And then you start over again.
I lose hundreds of subs if I take a week off.
Yeah. And then you're like, okay, well, I took a week off for me. I come back. I've lost all these subs. Now the stress is on even higher to get them all back. And so it's like, I don't even know how. I don't know how you solve that, but it's fucked up.
Well,
and it must affect your quality too, right? Like if you're not getting sleep and you're just like on 24/7, like you can't be funny, you can't be like reactive, you can't really be like really even like yourself, you know, you're just a sort of tired, exhausted, like mentally exhausted version of yourself where you're just responding to things, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you read lyrics again, another great example because of how large his channel is, where he did have to take some days off because it was too much. Like he was completely fucking overwhelmed. He had people yelling at him for daring to do that. It's obviously the desire for success on Twitch has got to the point where some people do go completely overboard. And weirdly, there was something of a barrier there before IRL came in. There was something that said, this is a website for streaming video game stuff, and if you're not doing video game stuff, you should probably be like somewhere else, and maybe
go sleep or
maybe bringing down that wall might have actually been a bad idea, because people now realize, oh, well, I was playing my video games and then the time I was going to take myself, but I could monetize that. I felt myself feeling that way sometimes. I'm like, oh, this thing that I just did in real life, I could have filmed that.
I could have been making money.
It becomes a like horribly toxic thing that tries to creep into your life. And when you let people into that level, people don't stop pushing. They want more and more.
Yeah, and
what you got, Beef?
Not a person. You're a commodity to them at that point.
What you got, Beef?
And you know, it's not even a greed thing, but like if you're playing games and you're streaming and you get that like that sub notification, that bit notification or whatever, it's a positive feedback loop for you too. You feel like, hey, I did something good here, you know? And it's like I want to stream more and more and more. It's definitely fun to do. And then you get that like sort of dream of like, wait, maybe if I get just enough subscribers, I could do this for a living and I'll be playing new games and I'll be getting the contests, going to the cons and live that nerd Hollywood life, you know? So you enter into that, and it's not like because you're greedy and you want money. It's not because like whatever, but it's like you work and work and work and you think like, I'm having fun. I'm playing games. I'm getting more of that positive qualitative feedback and more of the bits and everything. And then like you burn out at some point and then you leave and all your subs go away.
Yeah, for the last like year or year and a half, I've tried to be really, really strict with myself. Like, this is when I stream. If I go over, it's because I'm having a great time, but I won't stream like for an amount of time that doesn't make any sense, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's mentally been really, really good for me. But because I'm streaming for such shorter periods of time compared to a lot of my peers, I have a lot of moments where I'm going, maybe I should change up my schedule and be streaming more. But, you know, like I have to keep reminding myself, like, no, I'm in a good place right now. You know, I don't grow super fast. I like, for the most part, stay in the same place sub-wise. Like when I go spend time with family, I lose a bunch and then I slowly gain them back and then I'll lose them again and slowly gain them back.
Is that,
but, like, I'm
there's
in
that
a
cycle.
Good place. I'm okay right here and I feel good. So like, you know.
Don't obsess too much over the numbers. It's before Twitch even showed up and before subscriptions were even a thing, for YouTube, for all of us, it was like, oh, well, if we take 2 weeks off, like the impact on our channel is going to be far-ranging for months. You know, we're going to see SEO drop. I mean, I saw it over November. Like, I took those 3 weeks to go to the West Coast. I put out basically nothing on my channel. When I started putting stuff out on the channel again, I'm getting people saying, not hitting sub box, or it's not hitting as many related things, because that's right. YouTube in a nutshell. They reward active channels and they punish ones that aren't. Yep. So, yeah, you know, took a real financial hit there.
Jesse's been doing so much research into that stuff, and talking with him, I was just like...
I literally... So, man, 3 months ago, had a meeting with a person who was like, tell me everything you can tell me. She's like, what if I put together a big presentation for you and show you stuff? And I was like, cool, great. I went through that shit with a fine-tooth comb and was just like, this is fucked up. There's a lot of stuff there that, like, if you have a video that you put out that's roughly the same title, so like Fan Friday, for instance, every Friday, and then you put it out on a Saturday, you've already, you lose, like, if let's call them points, you lose points immediately. Mm-hmm. And then if you move it back to Friday, you lose more points the next week because you've changed it again. Like, it's crazy. So you'll notice just numbers dropping dramatically. And a lot of it's lately has to do with a lot of like algorithm stuff and the thing. So I understand why people are terrified of that and why they jump to Twitch, because Twitch, at least you like can see what the hell is going on. Mm-hmm. The problem is because it's so readable and so visible, you think like, oh, I have some control over this if only I work hard enough. So now you're caught up in another cycle of bullshit, which is like, it's on me. I'm the one who can make this work if I just keep going. It's crazy.
You know what I wonder? I wonder if there is going to be a point where Twitch, out of protecting themselves from a liability sake, is going to put a cap on how much you can stream in like a period. Like if, you know, more like new stuff comes out.
If people like keep passing out on stream and stuff like that.
just to like avoid potential for lawsuits and things like that.
Right.
Just to say, okay, and that's it. Like 4 is your max for the day, or 3.
I wonder what level of liability they really have in that respect. Probably not a huge amount with everyone being an independent contractor.
Yeah.
It would be a difficult situation as well, because, you know, what about channels that have more than one person that stream on them? What about channels that do a lot of reruns?
Right, where people like swap on and off. Yeah.
Not such an easy thing to do. But, you know, Twitch is not your employer. Like, unless you are directly working for Twitch. None of us work for Twitch.
Right.
We're all contractors. It's the reason we can do stuff for YouTube and Twitch. We're not employed by Twitch.
But I mean, but even so, all it takes is something catastrophic to happen. Some family sues Twitch. They're owned by Amazon now too. So there's PR involved. There's things like that. Even if there's no merit to it, it's a PR thing. So it's not impossible. You know?
I mean,
that's
really,
what people have to bear in mind, even if they're not responsible. It's the optics of it. It doesn't look good.
Yeah. They're still putting a lot of focus on like, okay, how do we cover our butts with music stuff and, you know, things like that, where the big money lawyers might come after them. That's their focus right now.
Yeah. And, you know, they've got plenty of other issues, like the way that rules are often inconsistently applied across different channels. The way that games can just be randomly banned for no reason with no appeal. You know, we talked about that in previous times with things like Yandere Simulator and other things like that. The inconsistency in that. The way the moderation team, the admin team actually works, which, you know, there's a lot of misconceptions about that. And IRL bringing just untold, unholy amounts of trouble, you know, along to the side.
Did you guys see, I only saw it because Dan tweeted it, Nerdcubed, but did you guys see that YouTube is hiring like hundreds of moderators?
Finally! Fucking
Actual
finally!
Living human moderators.
What a concept!
Like, amazing!
Man, if you'd done that maybe 2 years ago, if you'd done, I would have taken raptors. I would have taken anything living, anything with opposable thumbs.
Raptors would do better than this bot.
Yes. You know, after the sheer amount of damage that has been done for no reason. You know, we talk about this in sort of our Skype groups on an everyday basis, where we're trying to blindly diagnose what is wrong with a video or whatever. For, you know, prime example, a few days ago, Force uploads some video about Anthem, automatically flagged as not suitable for monetization. I'm like, Force, do me a favor, like, just humor me. Put less caps in the title and see what happens. And of course, it was fine. Like, you realize this is the bullshit that's currently going on with that. There was that recent video that claimed to have recognized why exactly certain videos were getting flagged, but there wasn't any actual proof of that. Then YouTube removed that code from certain videos, and people went crazy, like, what are you trying to hide, YouTube? Like, I mean, I would like...
Oh my god.
I mean, I'd like transparency from either of these companies right now. I think YouTube is worse on the transparency side of things right now, but Jesus. You wonder why people push themselves to this level, because they're battling unseen forces that are actually keeping them away from success, which include having your videos demonetized for no appreciable reason, which is that is not a good thing when you're trying to run a business, that level of unpredictability. It's like, this was a thing that wasn't my fault. Or maybe it was, but I don't know.
It's good for them, though, right? Because then, like, you don't get these, like, sort of mega AAA people. You just get this constant in and out factory. And then you don't have to worry about any of the PR stuff. Just like, here's a new video, here's a new video, here's a new viral thing. And I don't have to worry about the fallout from anybody doing anything uncouth.
I don't even know what their crazy curation bot is doing at the moment.
It's all like machine learning now, right? So it's like,
I don't know what exactly it's learning. I mean,
I was gonna say, it's definitely supposed to be learning something. Is it learning that it finds all caps annoying? Because that's not particularly helpful to us as creators.
How many caps are we allowed? What ratio really of caps is okay? It's not like, I mean, the rules aren't even consistent. Yeah, I've said this time and again. The people who are on managed partnerships are far more protected than the people who are on affiliate partnerships, who are far more protected than the people who are on no actual partnership with a MCN at all. And there's so much of this hidden shit. And oh god, and yeah, this is why people overdo it, because they are battling against just so many things that they can't even determine what's wrong. They're just like, well, I just got to work harder then to overcome this, and then they burn the fuck out.
No, absolutely. Yeah, you have to do the shotgun approach, right? Where if you throw up a video, it gets demonetized. You just lost that until you've thrown up another one to replace it. And then you got to produce that content, et cetera, et cetera. Speaking of which, I think I just had one demonetized now. Shit.
But like going back to the idea of moderators as well. I mean, you've seen what happens on Twitch, for example, where because it's a person, you have personal biases, and so they can determine what they feel is appropriate and what isn't. And then that goes to the fact that you see people complaining that, you know, famous streamer X not at all affected by something that nobody streamer Y was booted off of Twitch for. And it's like,
there's inconsistency.
Well, if that guy makes a shit ton of money, we're not going to really fuck with that guy. But like that happens all the time.
Well, it's inconsistency and a lack of transparency, which then results in conspiracy theories, which results in a bunch of fucking drama, most of which is fucking made up.
Yep.
But because of the lack of transparency, how do you shut that down? How do you shut down those rumors that apparently cam girls have somehow taken over Twitch? Have they? Where?
Yeah, where?
I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. Also, I mean,
someone send me links. I'm looking forward to it.
Damn it!
I'd love to see those. Slowbeef and I will form our own little website. Send us the links. Put all the links on there. We'll just have watch parties. You let me know where these girls are at. I'd love to see that stuff. I do not see that. People are just like they're everywhere.
They're everywhere. They're taking up.
They're
everywhere though. I mean, if they're just in IRL,
the last time that I
honestly couldn't give a shit.
Just a random stream and was like, "Oh, those are some. There's a lot going on here." No,
I don't. When I browse through the list, I don't see those.
I don't see those.
I don't see those.
Boobies.
No,
I don't see those boobies.
I gotta be honest.
Whatever.
If you look hard enough, no matter where you go, you'll find
some
just
of it.
like. I mean, I saw boobies. Like, yeah, okay. All
right. Well, good job.
It's like,
everywhere.
It's like, I'm part of the IRL later.
Everywhere.
Okay, fine. Honestly, that's what fucking IRL is for, as far as I'm concerned. Like,
Boobs?
IRL. Well, that and fucking everything else.
I'm doing it wrong.
I don't. Does anyone even know what the IRL streaming category is actually for?
It's for my wife who loves to stream but doesn't play video games, so she just points a camera at me to annoy me, and then she'll just randomly start streaming.
I mean, isn't it? It's at that point pretty much it's just it's a catch-all category, right? For anything that's basically not gaming.
It was like perfect for me because for so long I had been doing my Saturday morning Dooger thing.
Where you start with the talking to the camera, and then
where
you
it was
play
like
the game.
an hour where I just hung out with chat. Yeah. And they were like, I mean, you're not doing anything weird, so like I guess it's okay. We're not gonna mess with you. But once IRL came out, I actually had a category to put it under. You know? So I was like, oh, sick, that's awesome. Not foreseeing what would happen. But yeah.
I like the creative category a lot. I think that was a good move.
Too.
Like
That's
the stuff like
favorite.
art streams and things like that.
Dude.
Yeah.
Almost
which just
so
isn't
many
it's
of the
not
channels
promoted
that I
very
follow
well,
are
is it?
creative streamers. I love them so much.
I never even see creative hit the top, because right now they're showing like the top 20 categories currently on Twitch, and I mean it's creative is not even close.
No.
I mean, I don't know if they just don't promote them properly or.
Well, it's
God, I keep scrolling.
You know,
I still can't find them anywhere. Bloody hell!
I think Twitch, you know,
it's still primarily a game site.
This is still a byproduct of the fact that Twitch was built off of people who were coming here to watch games.
Yeah. They're reverting back to the Justin model, like 6 or 7 years after Justin TV shut down. So you try to bring that audience back, and they probably went somewhere else during that time.
They've made some good calls, because like when Creative was first made, they were like, oh, you can put tags on your channel to say like, you know, oh, I'm painting or I'm doing perlers or whatever, so that people can find like what type of creative thing they would want to watch a bit easier. And then they came out with communities and then said, okay, well, you can only choose one because everybody gets one community and tags aren't a thing anymore. And Creative was like, wait, but this is how like people were building their viewerships, right? And now they've made it so that you can have 3 communities, so that you can just treat communities like tags. It's really like, I think that they're making some good calls in terms of how to bridge the gap and make it so that everybody on the platform gets the same sort of things. But I honestly don't know if communities help much with any.
I don't think they've done anything. I'm going to be honest.
Creative. Like, I don't search for anything by community.
No, it's another half-baked feature, right? Like, it's something they put in and then didn't in any way think it through.
Yeah, I don't know. I use it for like, if I'm gonna have a stream, there are some communities that are used a lot. Like chill streams is a community that's used all the time. So if I know that my stream is gonna be if I'm doing like paint by numbers or some shit, I'm like, all right, I'm in the chill stream.
Is there any way to even track who comes in via the community though?
I think that whoever owns it, right? Because communities are still like made by someone. I think whoever owns it is the only person who can go like scrub through and be like, this is a chill.
I mean,
shut it down.
I don't even know what functionality I've got, because I mean, I own the co-optional community. I go to my dashboard and I can't even find where I'm even supposed to go to do anything with it, or even if there is anything I can do with it. I don't know. It's a bloody mess. I don't know how we got here. We ended up here after Jesse gave some very good advice, which is don't fucking burn out on things.
Yeah.
Which is a very good, solid piece of advice that everybody should take. We do need to take a break, though, and then we'll come back and maybe do some more gaming stuff.
No, we have to keep streaming right now.
No.
We are.
People are going to leave.
No, we're doing this is the classic move, Slowbeef, is that even when you need to take a break, regardless of if it's going to be 5 minutes or an hour, you just put up a BRB screen. And that way your stream never has to come down.
Oh, dear. We're going to take a break to hear from our wonderful sponsor, Squarespace. Head to squarespace.com/cooptional for 10% off your first order and a free trial. We'll be right back after the break, possibly video game talk, but I have no guarantees of that. None whatsoever, especially not with this lot. We'll be right back. It's 2017, and the worst year in human history has finally come to an end. 52 weeks of utter misery that we will never forget. Horrific events such as the invasion of Finland by the cult of Azathoth, the complete destruction of the West Indies as it was swallowed up by a larger-than-average whale, and the devastation wrought upon untold millions of Americans by the release of Fergie's single MILF. It has been a truly awful year for humankind, but there is one thing that stands head and shoulders above everything else as a true disaster, the memory of which will live on forever. Yes, I am talking about your terrible website. Your terrible website is responsible for every failure that you have experienced in your life. It is responsible for crushing your hopes, dreams, and aspirations. After just one viewing of your terrible website, seabirds give up flight, plummeting to their deaths in the icy waters below. Just the knowledge that your terrible website exists has created untold numbers of doomsday cults all over the globe. The sweet embrace of death's eternal slumber is not enough to escape your terrible website. It transcends space and time. It is the Alpha and the Omega. It may have existed before the universe began. It may be the reason that it ends. However, we are now in 2017, and this is a year of fresh starts, a year of new beginnings, a year of hope in which literally anybody, no matter how seemingly incompetent, unqualified, and totally unsuited to the job, can rise to greatness. Cast off the shackles of your terrible website and forge a legacy anew with squarespace.com/cooptional.
Squarespace lets you create a website for whatever you'd like. Are you a small businessman? That's only because of your terrible website. With squarespace.com/cooptional, you can become a huge businessman in an incomprehensibly small amount of time. Simple to use but with powerful results, Squarespace can create your professional-looking, easy-to-browse website that's compatible with practically any device imaginable. Do you want to showcase your artistic vision? Do it with a website on Squarespace. Do you have a fantastic product that you'd like to sell to the world? Squarespace's e-commerce tools provide secure, powerful functionality with no experience required. You can even get 10% off your first order at squarespace.com/cooptional. Stand out from the crowd with a domain name from Squarespace. It's like installing yourself as the god-appointed dictator of your very own country, only without the pesky invasions and basic human rights requirements. 2016 was terrible, and it was all your fault. Make 2017 better by creating your new, cleaner, faster website on squarespace.com/cooptional. Break the infinite cycle of soul-crushing despair that makes the heat death of the universe sound like a sexy party and set up your much better website today. Make your next move with Squarespace. Or you can accept the apocalyptic embrace of Azathoth. Finland has. It can't be all that bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Co-Optional Podcast, the sounds of Miracle of Sound with Khajiit Like to Sneak and Austin Wintory's Banner Saga, strewn across a bridge. A damn good game. Waiting on the third one. Want to see what the end of that story is. Because damn was there a cliffhanger at the end of the second one. But there you go.
Also, depending on what characters lived.
True. Yes. Very true. All right. Back to video games. Has anyone else sort of been in the end of year funk where we know there's probably a shit ton of things we should have got around to playing and didn't, but instead of doing that, we go and play a bunch of old shit instead from years ago?
That's me all year.
I've been dying to play Runer, but instead I got a gift card to my local game shop and I just picked up a bunch of bargain bin PS2 stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to stream through that. It's like, what about Runer, though? You're looking forward to that all year and you never played it.
I was finally convinced to play that by TB, and it's so fun. I still haven't sat down to beat it, though. Again,
did you play the
call
update?
Back to earlier in this podcast, and I was like, I never fucking finish things.
Yeah.
That game's great. It's super cool. The music is great. The playstyle is awesome.
They got out a pretty significant update for that past couple of weeks called the Savage Update. Might be worth a look.
Yeah? That sounds like a harder difficulty. No, thank you.
Possibly. I'm not saying it's not.
Oh, all right. I gotta get on that then.
What are you looking for, Jesse?
I just want to show you the examples of how bad I am at this. I not only have an entire drawer full of games over here that I'm like, I'll get to those. I will. I know I will. But then if you can see, ignore Kristen for a minute. Over there on a chair is literally about another 20 games that I'm like, I'm gonna do those. I'm gonna do those. I will. I have so much. Meanwhile, I'm like, episode 16 of South Park. Fuck me. I just can't. Have you not finished that yet? No, because I also was doing Star Wars and a Scary Game Squad. Like literally because welcome to YouTube, where you're trying to balance not flooding your channel with content coming out of what a shit show. What a shit show of a platform. I could do it all on stream, but then I'd have to literally work 29 hours a day. I can't have. I'm gonna go into the sea and let the ocean, I'm gonna let the tide take me out.
Take you out.
I feel like you're one step away from those shows that spotlight people who just live in caravans, like in the middle of the woods. I feel like one day I'll be like, what happened to Jesse? And you'll just be like, I live with chickens now. This is my caravan. I built it from scratch.
No internet.
Get with me through letter. All technology will be gone. I'll be like one of those guys. I'll be in Alaska. Up in the far
Alaska
north.
bush person. Oh shit.
With like Inuit tribe, and I will just be like, this is my wife. And I'll have a lovely Inuit bride, and we'll have a bunch of kids, and we'll have sled dogs, and I will hunt And this is not going to happen. I'd be like, can you hunt? I don't want to see it happening. That sounds like a lot of work. Yeah, no, that would never happen.
God,
what's the avocado toast version of that future? What's the version of that where like stuff is done for me?
Right.
But, like,
you just need to find like one of those communities where the women are the hunters and you get to stay home and take care of the kids.
Yeah. What if like Amazons could kidnap me?
Yeah.
Where's
where are those Amazons at nowadays?
I think about that a lot for some reason.
Yeah. Where are the Amazons? Why aren't they kidnapping me? Yeah.
I'm getting really wistful and sad now.
So there's a bunch of stuff probably should have played, didn't get around to it. Like, reinstalled.
Right back on topic.
Reinstalled a bunch of stuff, and did I load it? No. It's like reinstalled Nier Automata. Like, oh God, why have I not played way more of this? Like, I just haven't. And like, I sat down yesterday. Right, gotta play Nier Automata. I played Supreme Commander instead. Like, the game's like 10 years old.
Idiot.
I don't know. I just felt like it. And then I loaded Civ 6 because I wanted to see what other like civilizations they'd added. So I messed around with that a little bit. And then
Civ 6 is still great. It's still great and it only gets better with every release. It's frustrating.
Well, I'm waiting for the expansion now. I don't want to play it till the expansion comes out because you know how that shit gets. It's like, with Civ, it's always a big improvement on the expansion. Massive.
Also, just point of order, Brazil kind of shitheads in Civ. Like, out of nowhere, the Empire of Brazil, kind of assholes. All right, that's all I want to say.
Really good at football,
though. Football. Football.
I played the new Harvest Moon game.
Yeah, it looks
Harvest
awful.
Moon Light of Hope. The one that
Please tell me it plays better than it looks like.
We were like, this looks like a mobile game.
Yeah, it looks like absolute crap. Please tell me it plays better than what it looks like.
It's kind of garbage. I was trying to figure out what about it specifically, because I went into it knowing what it was going to look like, right? So that wasn't a shock for me. It wasn't me being like, wow, these graphics are just not up to par, because I was going in realizing like, okay, this looks like a mobile game. When you first boot it up, it says click or tap to begin. And I was like,
oh, that's a great start.
But it turns out the tapping feature is meant for the Switch. So I was like, okay, I guess that's acceptable. That's fine. So I'm playing it, and it's just a very, very convoluted game. And really, like every Natsume Harvest Moon game that has come out since the original like Harvest Moon team just pieced the fuck out and started making other games has been so like they've really lost what makes Harvest Moon really fun, I think. I want to say, chat can back me up. I want to say I spent like an hour trying desperately to figure out how to get a fishing pole. Because in the game, very early on, they're like, oh man, we need this thing. But apparently it's at the bottom of like one of the lakes. I bet you could fish it up. And I was like, cool. Obviously, I will get a fishing pole now. I was going all over this town, like trying desperately, because it's one of those Harvest Moons where it's, oh, the town is deserted and you have to like fix stuff. I have to like collect wood and stone and stuff to rebuild buildings, but I have to also pay in order to fix the building. And I'm like, who am I paying? Who the fuck is taking this money from me? I'm all on my own on this goddamn island trying to fix this shit so that people will move in. Who am I paying right now? Who's taking my hard-earned dollars?
As usual, Tom Nook's behind everything.
Yeah. So just like progression in it isn't it like in pretty much every other Harvest Moon game that I've played, or really any other game that is similar to Harvest Moon, the very bare bones tools that you get is on a linear path, right? Even if there are a few days in between, eventually you'll hit a point where it's like, oh, you've met this character and they will give you this thing, right? But in this one, it's all determined by what buildings you've built. So if there's a building that I just haven't built yet, I won't get that tool. And so I get very frustrated thinking to myself, like, I can't progress the story. So I'm just wasting this entire month, like making the vegetables and running out of money because I don't have anything, because like I just don't know what I'm supposed to be doing right now, you know.
This doesn't sound even remotely enjoyable.
Yeah, it's a very frustrating Harvest Moon, I think. And like the sound design in this game is really bizarre. Everything has a kind of tinny like stock sound feel to it. So every time that I needed to water my plants, I was like, I'm so sorry, chat, we're watering now. Because it was like psh, psh,
oh god.
Like the most obnoxious watering sound that they could find. When you like spread your seeds, it just sounds like maracas. Like it's just really
I know
bizarre.
That's a problem that I frequently have.
So just overall, yeah, like we had fun because it was on stream and I gave everybody stupid voices and stuff. But just like playing it in comparison to really good wow, I spit everywhere. To like really good Harvest Moon games, and also games like and also games like Stardew Valley that were inspired by the Harvest Moon format but tried to build off of it. It's like, god, this just does not live up to this they need to try a lot harder. But the original Harvest Moon team is still making games that are like that. So
Story of Seasons or whatever it was called, was it? Yeah.
And it has really good reviews. I've just never played it, so I really should, because
maybe don't waste any more time with this one because it sounds like absolute shit.
Don't waste time on this guy. Look, I played it so you don't have to. You're welcome.
There you go. There's something that we both played a little bit of because it just came out today, and I was completely unaware that Frozen Byte were making another game.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
Parchments.
9 Parchments, yeah. And so, I mean, I haven't played much of it. Only a little bit of the first level, I've got to admit. But it was intriguing when I read the description. I'm like, oh, this sounds like it could be interesting. This sounds a bit like Magicka, even though it's not made. It's actually a lot like Magicka, despite not in any way being the Magicka devs.
Yeah.
Like, people frequently get all mistaken between the Frozen Byte Trine guys and the Magicka dudes. It's not the same guys. This game was actually announced a year ago.
They have the same kind of like mystical feel to their games, but Trine, the Trine games have a bit more detail to their art and stuff. It's very much Magicka. Like if I was playing as, there are 2 characters that you can start with.
There's a lot more you can unlock.
Yeah, there's
I was
a ton more
disappointed that the fucking robotic owl magician was not unlocked from the start. Like, that was a massive letdown, really.
I'm apparently on the path to unlock the cat wizard, and I want it so bad. But there are things like there's apparently friendly fire. Again, both TV and I only play single player, so we haven't experienced that.
And the game is clearly designed for co-op.
Yeah, but something that's along those lines that did keep happening is you start with like 3 different magic abilities, and one of them is healing. And I put down like a healing aura, and one of the monsters just stood in the healing aura and healed, and I was like, what the fuck? That's not for you.
Yeah, my wizard doesn't actually have that. My wizard has different spells to that. I got Fireball, a ice laser thing, and this big skull that you throw on the ground, which is like a curse AoE that people run into. So every wizard has different spells, different skill trees. You can collect staffs and different hats, which apparently upgrade things. It's a lot less complex than Magicka. Like the whole Magicka system of combining elements isn't here. But if you shoot beams, let's say you're playing with 3 people and 2 people combine their beams together, they combine together in exactly the same way Magicka did. Like that's a very clear inspiration.
You can also, if an enemy is shooting a beam at you and you shoot your beam back Dragon Ball style, it'll redirect their beam. So if you're good at angles and shit, you can be like, oh man, I'm gonna redirect their beam so that it's hitting like one of the other monsters and stuff like that, which is really cool.
It looks like potentially you get 4 people in on this and it becomes a chaotic magical-like clusterfuck, which is probably where it's best.
Like
on its own, its own, it is meh, decidedly meh. But with 4 people or with the right kind of group, I could see this being pretty damn entertaining. The Trine narrator is in there as well. That's always good. It does look good. It looks a lot more polished than their last game, which was Has Been Heroes, which was very clearly rushed. I actually liked that game a lot, but holy fuck was it a rushed game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll play it with people and see what it feels like there. I wouldn't recommend it as a single-player game. But with it, you know, get a group together, it'd probably be pretty enjoyable. It's also available on Switch, which, you know, is a selling point for a lot of people. Man, Magicka on Switch, that would never work. Fuck. Can imagine that being a clusterfuck. But to be fair, that's the only way that game's fun anyway, so... Yeah, so that popped out today out of pretty much nowhere, and there's a game that's been in dev for fucking forever, at least it appears to have been, and finally is releasing this week, but I think it's releasing into early access, despite the fact that they've been working on it forever, and that's RIOT Civil Unrest. I think...
Oh, I heard about this, yeah.
We probably checked the trailer out at least a year ago. Because the trailer was very impressive in terms of its aesthetic. Had this really awesome pixel art style to it.
Oh, that does look cool. Whoa, this trailer's great.
Yeah, I'm almost certain we have... Oh, God, the official trailer came out in 2015. Yeah, this is why this has been dragging on for so fucking long.
This looks so overwhelming. Oh, my God.
Well, I played a bit of the gameplay, and that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It is unbelievably overwhelming. You either play the rioters or the police, and you're given mission objectives such as you've got to break through to this area, or you've got to destroy all the tents in this amount of time. And the rioters and the police play completely differently. But while the police make a decent degree of sense as to how they play, I couldn't figure out the rioters at all. The game has no tutorial at all yet. It's got a wiki, or an in-game wiki, which is missing information. There's again, which is why I suppose this is early access. And controlling the riot, as it were, is probably supposed to be very difficult. But I felt like I wasn't able to do anything, really. It was just sort of a mass of people. So it's supposed to be a real-time strategy.
Maybe is that the kind of thing where if it's like head-to-head, like the police are more like organized, but there's like far fewer of them, and then the riot's like harder to control, etc. Maybe. Yeah,
there's quite a bit of that to it. It's just like controlling the riot in any way seems to be incredibly hard to do. There's a lot of panic and morale stuff that goes on with that, less with the police. The police are easier to control. They only tend to run off and break formation when you tell them to arrest people because they're chasing people around. Otherwise, you can put them in formations and tell them to do stuff. You've got to try and resolve the situation as peacefully as possible. Otherwise, you get a penalty on your next mission because the media doesn't like what you did. And that's on both sides. If you violate on either side, you get that. And you can unlock different items and equip police squads in different ways. It seems interesting enough. It's just the actual gameplay aspect is just horrifically confusing.
Oof.
It doesn't help that it doesn't have a proper tutorial.
I might not have the patience, to be honest.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you. The art style, though, and the cutscenes look fucking great. And they've taken a risk with it. You know, they've based a lot of it on real riots. Like, there's a mission chain which is literally the Arab Spring. I'm like, okay, it seems pretty well handled. From what I can tell, from what I've played. But the actual, like I say, the gameplay itself seems like it needs a lot of refinement. From what I've played of it up to this point.
Yeah, I had heard that, everything is based on, like, real kind of, I guess, like, civil unrest events and things like that.
Yes, it was, yeah. Which, you know, may raise some ire, but it's an interesting bit of subject matter. It's just I'm really more interested in seeing those cutscenes than I actually am of playing it. Because, like I said, it's very, especially as the riot, it's a very sort of herding cats scenario. And I found that in general frustrating. It's like, I just want you to do a thing. It's like, I'm not going to do the thing. It may just be because it's lacks tutorial. It's entirely possible I'm just not playing it right.
Have you tried being the rioters while listening to Rage Against the Machine? It might change the way you play the game.
That's kind of a buff. I heard they were nerfing that.
Yeah, it seems OP.
It will only make it easier. It would only make it easier to tear down the system, man. Just Rage and you'll be fine.
Lights out, Guerrilla Radio, turn that shit up, etc.
Yes.
It's actually got some pretty cool music in it, surprisingly. which is neat. And aesthetically, it's fucking awesome. But it comes down to what you like. You know, a lot of people are like, pixel art, Pixel art, in this case, is a great way to represent literally thousands of characters on scron. It's a very good way of doing it, actually. Yeah. And the cutscenes look great. They're very well lit, in particular. But I know some people are not really into that.
I mean, I think it's like anything, right? Like, yeah, there's some pretty bad pixel art out there, and sometimes it is like that. Yeah, but like when it's done really well and really nicely, you know, it has that like kind of crisp feel to it.
Yeah,
beautiful.
And ultimately,
beautiful Riot. It's
supposed to be a mess. It's a riot. That's that's why I think that pixel art choice actually works. God, fuck. The first trailer for that came out in 2013.
That's the most beautiful Riot I've ever seen. I never thought I'd be saying that here, but
there you go. I think of what else I played. I dipped briefly back into Elder Scrolls, the card game, for whatever reason, just because I ran out of good things to play on my iPad. So I'm like,
that's hardly an endorsement. Like, why not? Ran out of good things, though.
I mean, kind of. I just wanted something to play on my iPad. And like, oh yeah, Elder Scrolls Legends was okay, I suppose. And I'm just kind of playing through the campaign for it right now. I'm like, okay, it's all right, I guess.
I never really got into card games so much, you know. I know we played what was it, Dominion that one time, but I was no good at it or anything. So
it takes a bit of practice to get into deck builders. At least you don't have to buy a lot of card packs. I know I'm staring down the barrel of this new Hearthstone expansion, and I'm thinking, I have not bought the last 3 fucking expansions. I'm probably gonna have to buy, if I actually want to get the stuff, I'm probably gonna have to spend $1,000 on fucking virtual cards. Like, I don't feel like it. I really don't feel like it.
Forgive me if this has been brought up before, but like I know a bunch of my friends are into Eternal now. Like Ty, who I think has been on the podcast too. Yeah, he was
I had him on the show.
He streams it a lot and stuff. That's supposed to be really good, but
I think there are plenty of better card games than Hearthstone. It's just a case of, do I really want to start another one? You know?
Right.
Eternal, actually, I think
if they're different enough, I think it's worth it.
Yeah. I mean, screenshots-wise, Eternal looks very similar to Hearthstone, but I admit to having not played it. So, I don't really know. Anyone played anything else this week? I heard
from a good source that Eternal is magic, so gold.
What?
That's from my friend Capjack in chat. What's going on, buddy? I don't know who that is.
It's more like Magic the Gathering. Okay.
Capjack.
Yeah, Capjack.
Yeah, buddy.
Anyone else got anything else they've been playing this week? Please say yes.
I got one.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. This is another shoot 'em up indie style, which I know y'all love, but it's called Super Hydorah. It's made by 2 guys in Spain. This guy Loco Melito, he makes like a lot of indie games himself, but this is on Steam and Xbox One. It's kind of like a love letter to like Gradius, Darius, all those old games, but like the level of detail in it is really awesome. So did you ever see like now they'll do CRT effects on games where they'll do like the scan line thing? What the guy did who made this was each individual sprite in the CRT filter has its own verticality to it, like how the glow would look on pixels. So he hand drew pixels around each scan line and then recoded the shader to actually incorporate that when you play.
Okay.
If you stream it, it like it doesn't look great when you stream it because of the compression and stuff, but when you play it on your own monitor, it's like this beautiful effect. But it's just like a really cool exploration kind of thing. There's like a lot of different fun environments and stuff like that. Again, my jam. So I love Super Hydorah, and I'll talk it up constantly. Well, not constantly. I'll stop now because that's all I have to say for it.
That's fair.
I will never stop talking about this game.
It's never gonna happen. But, you know, you did get me playing Crimson Clover at one point. I'll give you that. Your shmup obsession did rub off on me a little bit. That is a hell of a game.
Bullet hell stuff just relaxes me, as like weird as it's, because like there's like so much going on, you can't really process it. You just kind of have to zone out and like just let yourself dodge. It's like this crazy like Matrix kind of thing. I really enjoy it a lot, but that's just me.
I don't think it's just you. There's a lot of people that do like it for that very reason. You know, yeah, sure, I can see that. You know, getting into that, it's like getting into the shooter trance. You know, with an FPS, a really good FPS where you get into that rhythm, and you're not really thinking anymore. You're just doing.
Yeah. And plus, like, it's their games built around making you look good, which I need a lot of help with. So I really appreciate what they do with the hitboxes and the auras and everything, you know. It just looks like, oh my God, how is he doing all this? And it's like, oh, there's little tricks, you know, that kind of thing. So it's a fun genre, but Super Hydorah is really good. I can't remember how much it is off the top of my head. I should look it up, but I think it's only like 10, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It's super hard to spell too. But it's like HYDORAH.
Yeah.
$12, $11.99.
I feel like there's an aesthetic that you're super into.
Yeah.
There is a theme, yeah.
Yeah, totally. All right, what else you got then?
Good question. Go ahead. What you got?
I was literally just going to say that I've still been playing Battlechef Brigade. That game is longer than I thought it was going to be.
Battlechef Brigade? Yeah.
Yeah, I have just the last chapter to do, I think. Yeah, when I thought that when I thought it was the end of the game, it was not the end of the game, and I still had like a couple chapters left of the thing. So I was like, oh, this is longer than I expected.
A pleasant surprise, right?
A great game though.
A pleasant surprise.
Yeah, absolutely, because that game is super fun. I still haven't done any of the like daily challenges or anything like that though, so I'm still not sure what those are like.
It's the replay. It's the only replayability the game really has, honestly. So they're challenging. The thing is, you can actually play different characters in that. I don't know how many exactly, but because I didn't get as far in the game as you did, maybe you unlock them as you play. But I did a daily challenge, and it's like you can play the main character, or you can play the kind of orky guy. You know, the
Thrash.
Yeah, you can play him.
The best
he actually has
in
different
the
abilities.
Game.
He has different abilities and stuff. So I don't know if there are more that you can unlock, which would give a little bit more flavor and replayability. It actually, when I found that out, I'm like, oh, it's kind of a shame then that I guess the main character can't use weapons other than those knives then, because you clearly have different attacks and weapons in the game. You just didn't give them to the main character.
Yeah, can I spoiler finger a thing? Do you mind?
Yes. Is it a mechanic or a story bit?
Is it something that you don't want spoiled for yourself?
I actually don't really care. I'm just frantically looking for my spoiler overlay and realizing I don't actually have it in. Oh, there it is. Okay,
it's not really a storyline thing, but it's
do it. Spoiler caution to the wind. Go for it.
Spoiler alert is up.
It's over now.
There we go.
Great. Okay. So, yeah, there's an entire chapter that you get to play as Thrash where they like teach you how to use all of his abilities and stuff. I don't know if there's another chapter where you would get to play as another character. If like the last chapter you play as somebody else also, but if you do, then I would assume you would be able to play as them in some of the challenges. I don't know, but I am assuming that the reason why you can play as Thrash in the daily challenges is because of that. You can play as him in one of the chapters of the story.
Yeah, makes sense. Fair enough. Still needs that damn multiplayer chef battle mode. It's got to happen at some point.
Yeah, that's got to be on their docket, right?
Yeah, maybe they kickstarted this thing. It didn't have a huge amount of money. They ended up releasing it. Like as I pointed out in my video, it seemed like some of the art was unfinished. Like some of the backgrounds really seemed like they just went with what they had. But maybe it'll sell enough for them to be able to develop that. I don't know. It was probably this is going to cost too much. We can't do it situation.
Right.
Because it makes so much sense. I mean, even especially with the Switch release, you could just do split screen. But we'll see. Hopefully it does well. It's a fun, unique, interesting game. I like it.
I like it too.
Speaking of long and pleasantly surprising games, Dodger and I have been playing The Letter for maybe 1,000 years. That is a long ass game.
I was gonna say, I thought you finished this.
Still only
God
on the
knows.
first playthrough.
Yeah. The Letter is a horror visual novel that boy, do you get really in depth with like what these people are thinking about some ghost trying to kill them. They have a lot of thoughts on it.
Yeah. Most of the critique about this game, like nearly everybody that we've talked to has been like, that game is great. The art's good. The like horror elements are good. But man, the pacing is so weird because every single person goes through these really long inner monologues where we're like, did we need to know that? Was that necessary now? Did we need to do that now?
I feel like maybe, just maybe, because we're getting to know the characters so much that you're like you don't want them to die as much. So you're like, maybe that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to like really make you want to relate to them and be like, I got to keep this person alive. It's just that sometimes the things they say, you're just like, what the hell's the matter with you? Like, what are you thinking about? Because there's literally just like when we just played recently, one of the characters is like having this really deep discussion about how, like, inner monologue about how the guy at the bar that they're staying at temporarily like, they can't stay in any houses because a ghost is trying to kill them there. They've literally just been attacked by this terrible monster, and they're now at a bar, and the guy's like, this guy at the bar, he's a real friend. He's always been there for me. You know, one time, and it like, it tells a story, and it's like, you are literally just attacked by a ghost. Like, ago, this is not what would be going on in your mind. It's crazy. I love it. I think it's so ridiculous and fun. What a bizarre game.
Yeah, I think we're only going to be able to do one playthrough without going crazy. But like, it's like if you were on your own, sure, you could just be like, got it. I get it. I get it. Right. But since we're streaming, we like take the time to listen to everything and read through everything. And it's been so long, man. But yeah, it is like a really interesting game for sure.
Mostly because you can die, like, and you QTE to save your life. Like, it's crazy. We had a moment that involved a book, and it might be my favorite moment in a video game this year. Like, I literally thought we were dead.
Me too, dude.
Hardcore. We were like, no, and then the game made my life. It was the single greatest moment in a video game I've ever played, ever, maybe ever. It was beautiful. Yeah. I was so surprised that a visual novel like made me actually give a shit for a moment. I was like, it was great.
Yeah.
I've been getting into visual novels lately. I never really played them as a genre until like a couple of years ago, really. But
do you have any that you are super into? Any that like touched your heart places?
I don't know.
Or your
brain? I mean, I've just started. So like me and a bunch of friends like do a thing where we read through them. And it's like we went through Ever 17, Hustle Cat, Analog, A Hate Story. And we're actually doing Danganronpa V3 now and stuff. So, which I don't know if that counts or not. That's a little.
There is a lot of gameplay in that game for it to be a visual novel.
How terrible! What an awful thing.
Yeah, this is not nearly kinetic enough for me to.
Yes, the kinetic novel. I hate that term so very much.
I don't believe in genres anymore. You know.
Yes, of course.
You know. No, I did. I used to have like a big distinction between like visual novel and adventure game, but I think like a lot of things blur that line. But I'm definitely on the lookout for more visual novel stuff. So the letter sounds really cool.
Yeah, you should play. Just keep in mind, it is so fucking long, but like the characters are really fun, and the actual horror elements of the game, they sneak up on you. Like I honestly feel like the amount of downtime that the game gives you, where you're just like, I get it. You have a lot of issues with your dad. I get it. Then when the fucking ghost shows up, you're like, Jesus Christ! Like,
also they do a phenomenal
false sense of security constantly.
Yeah, the way they tell the story is also you do it by character, and so what'll happen is you'll go through one character's story, and then they'll be like talking to someone, and then the text will be like, this character looks over to your left and has a weird expression on their face, but then starts talking to you again. And then when you play as that character, you realize like, oh my God, that's when they saw the ghost. And the ghost
saw the ghost for a second.
The first character's shoulder, like, what up, bitch? And you're like, oh, and it changes everything. And you're just like, oh my God, it was there the entire time. Yeah. Oh, that shit's so cool. Yeah. They do a really good job. Also, even though I'm sure at this point, everyone and their brother has said like, hey, play this, you should definitely play Doki Doki Literature Club.
You know what? I'm not even kidding. I was going through old co-optional podcasts on YouTube just now, reading the description, like, did they bring up Doki Doki Literature Club in the past couple of episodes? I got to
Jesse and I played it.
Yeah,
we played all of it. We played the entire thing. We played all the way up until the end, didn't we, Jesse?
Yes, and there's definitely not anything else.
Yeah, there's definitely not anything else that we could have done.
And if there is something to play, boy, oh boy, should you go out and get the free game yourself and play it.
It's weird. It's a free game.
Yeah,
it's like, you guys almost showed us everything. You didn't beat it. And it's like, maybe we did that on purpose, and you should go play the game yourself. It's a free game.
Yeah, it's only a couple hours long. Don't even worry about it. You'll finish it quick, you know? Good stuff. A fun love story.
Yeah.
Also, another one that I will evangelize for until I fucking kick it is Hatoful Boyfriend. If you haven't played that, literally like play it through to the end, because it turns into a crazy masterpiece by the end of the game.
I still haven't finished that one.
Finish it. Finish it. There's going to be a point where you're like, what the fuck is going on? It's going to go from, yes, I'm just dating all of these pigeons, to what? It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great, especially with friends. You gotta finish that game for me, please.
Okay, for you, got it.
Cool.
Cool. Visual novels are done. Great. Speaking of weird free games,
Boo.
we should probably actually hold on to that for the news segment in a couple of minutes. Yeah, let's just do that. Most people have figured out what it is anyway. I mean, this news has been flying around everywhere, so it's fine. We can hold on to it. Anything else that people have been playing this week that they desperately would like to get off their chest before we go to a break?
I don't think so.
I have one. I've been playing I was playing a bit of A Robot Named Fight, which is another indie game where somebody tried to make their own sort of roguelike Super Metroid, but it's got a cool body horror aesthetic. It's a little bit jank, I'll be honest, with some of the animations and stuff, but it was fun, and it's another one of those cheaper kind of retro experiences that's procedurally generated. I like those a lot, I guess. I guess I have a type, but you know, I thought it was pretty cool.
You do tend to bring those up quite a lot.
I'm sorry?
You do tend to bring them up quite a lot.
Yeah. Well, I don't like these like newfangled graphics that you need the cards for and everything, so I'm playing it on my old, like, repurposed Apple IIe, so it helps out a lot.
Anybody else? Are we about wrapped up? It's weird. It's the end of the year, and there's so much stuff, and we're just avoiding all of it for some reason.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah. It's like I really should be rushing through things that I've missed, and strangely enough, I don't feel like it. Oh yeah, I tried a little bit of 7 The Days Long Gone. Nah. Way too buggy early on for me to bother with. It has been patched probably at least twice since launch. It is a weird, we're in the future, but we don't have technology for some reason, kind of isometric stealthy game with a fairly basic clicky combat system. Which sounded interesting because, like, there's wide open levels and you've got all these different abilities and ways to sneak in and stuff. Stealth isn't really my thing to begin with, but I thought, I'll give it a try. The sheer amount of bugs and just how stupid the AI was within the first 20 minutes were like, nah, no. I'll come back in 6 months when it's maybe fixed. But weirdly enough, most of the reviews didn't point that out. IGN savaged them for it. They spent half the review talking about how broken the AI was and how buggy the game was. Everyone else seemed to not have that problem. I had that problem, and it put me off. Like, I can't be bothered with this. I'll come back later. That was my impression of it. I think that's about it. I got nothing else. Let's take a break. When we come back, news and what's left of the releases for this year. You might think we're out, but we're not, surprisingly. There's still more.
But when we were doing sound check, TB was like, surely this list is going to be shorter this week. Don't worry, it's just as filled with garbage as we can all testify from looking through these so far.
Oh, God. We'll be right back after the break. Don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Co-optional Podcast for the final 45 minutes or so of the show. And getting right into a little bit of news for the end of the year. Some Christmas presents to begin with, some freebies. One of which is, well, the sequel to, well, sequel, Five Nights at Freddy's 6.
Oh, good. I can't wait to buy that for the whole family.
Well, it's free, though. That's the point.
It also is a game that, and I am no fan of Five Nights at Freddy's. I think they are trash. But this one is a game that is not at all like the others in that it is a horror tycoon game.
Are you sure about that?
It is. It starts out. Oh, sure. It is like genres, but incorporating the Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, it's weird. It's bizarre. It's trying to be subversive, like one of those subversive, like, it's not what you think. You're gonna start out playing one game, and it's gonna become another game, and then it's become another game, like that kind of stuff. So, it's interesting. It's interesting that they try to do something different. I don't know if it's good different, but I like that it isn't just the same trash over and over again. Although, I don't know.
That sounds like a good use of my time.
It is a good use of your time. There's a million other better games out there. God bless. Go play.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
So to explain briefly, Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator came out on Steam. Some people assumed, oh, this is just some ripoff. Nope, by the guy, Scott Cawthon, who made them. And hidden inside of that is basically Five Nights at Freddy's 6. And it's free.
All right.
Can I tell you my assessment of the Five Nights at Freddy's series prior to this one, which I told you before? It's pretty much like an agreement between him and like a bunch of the like AAA Let's Players to just basically write each other checks, more or less. It's not a scam per se. It's just like a weird flat level pyramid scheme where it's like, I'll make it, you play it, and we both get rich and everybody's happy.
Look, I'm going to place the blame for the success of Five Nights at Freddy's squarely on the shoulders of MatPat, and that he created the lore for this game where there was none. And he blew it up like it was fucking Dark Souls, where people are like, you just got to like look deep into it, and there's stuff there. There's nothing fucking there. It is bullshit. Everyone's like, don't you get it? Deep in the game is the subtext of what's happening. No, not until MatPat made the theories did suddenly stories start showing up into the game. Where it's like, don't you get it? Oh, yeah. No, MatPat is to blame. This is on you, Matty. It's on you. You caused this to happen.
You piece of shit.
God damn it, Matt.
God damn it, Matt.
It is possible. No, not going to suggest otherwise. It's just a very odd thing to do, but the guy's sitting on a pile of money. So why not? Also, great way to spread the brand and continue to make more of the damn things when people were maybe forgetting that it existed for that brief, peaceful, wonderful moment.
That brief, beautiful period in 2017.
Indeed. Nope.
What was that game with the monsters?
Nope. I don't remember.
What was that game with the monsters?
It's like in space or something, I think. I don't know.
Monster Squad. Yeah. The game, Monster Squad, the game. Holy
That's
shit.
the one.
That'd be the greatest goddamn game. Oh my god.
For other stuff,
some guy from the 80s is really happy that I'm talking about Monster Squad.
For other stuff that may be slightly more appealing, Ubisoft is giving away a couple of games. The one that's currently for free is World in Conflict Complete Edition, which is really fucking good.
Oh, cool.
So you might want to pick that up. I would strongly recommend it. Really good real-time strategy. And great story. If you like the whole, hey, USSR is invading the US kind of storyline and you want to play a RTS that isn't about speed for the most part.
That scenario is so fantastic.
Yes, that's never been done.
It's one of my favorite tropes.
It's a fun one, though. And especially since Complete Edition also lets you play it from the Soviet side as well, which is kind of neat. Great. That's free, and I think it's next week they're giving away Assassin's Creed 4, as in the good one. So, can't really complain about that.
Which one is 4?
Black Flag. The good one. Black Flag. Yes. Either way, you do need Uplay There's your downside. Like, no, not anything but that. Yeah, you need Uplay for that. If you would like free stuff. And you're not averse to installing a program on your PC, as heretical as that sounds. Anything but that. Other interesting news. Fortnite players that were being sued by Epic for cheating and making videos about how to cheat, etc., etc. One of those 2 cases has been settled. I don't believe it is the one with the 14-year-old kid. Not yet, anyway. But that is...
Wait, what's happening?
Okay. I'm not sure if we covered this last week or the week before. We did cover it, though. So, a couple of people got in hot water with Epic for cheating in Fortnite. They got repeatedly banned over and over again. They published videos on how to do it and things like that. One of them, I think it was actually the 14-year-old kid that did this, got DMCA'd by Epic and then counterclaimed it. And Epic did the one thing that you have to do after that, which is take them to court. So they said, well, okay, we're going to do that then. So one of them has been settled out of court, and I am strongly going to imagine that the other one will be as well, especially considering that they're 14. Doesn't look great.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, when you take a kid to court and it's not going to lead to prison time, it's typically easy. I mean, it seems like it's typically easy to just settle it outside of court, because it's like, what do you have? Oh, nothing, because you're a child.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
but
there
your
was
parents.
Well, there was a lot of guffaw from just a general drama from the parents. The mother wrote this pretty outrageous letter that claimed all sorts of things about Epic and that they'd broken the law by revealing the name of a minor in legal documents, which, as it turns out, wasn't true because they had no idea what his age actually was at the time when they put the legal documents out there. So apparently they didn't violate anything. And also
on legal documents, you have to have the names, right? It's just whether or not it reaches the public. That's the problem.
Well, also the mother also named the kid in the letter, so that probably didn't help. But it's a bit weird.
I can't believe that you outed my child, Lord Fendleberry III. In this case, with Epic. Look, this.
Sorry, who?
Lord Fendleberry is kind of a dick, though.
The Lord Fendleberry?
The Lord Fendleberry.
Of the small town Fendleberries?
He thought he was untouchable, and he was not.
Outrageous.
Fuck him and his family.
The Fendleberries.
Indeed. Well, the other person settled, I'm going to imagine there will be a settlement with the 14-year-old as well. The settlement in question says, well, you can't play our games, you can't cheat in our games under threat of $5,000 minimum penalty if he ever does it again. So that's basically all it is. Which is unsurprising, because it wasn't really going to go any further than that, was it? What else do you expect? So that's pretty much all cleaned up. Overwatch announced that it would be releasing a metric fuckton of skins for the Overwatch League. That's your home and away jerseys for all of the teams in the Overwatch League that you will be able to buy for a new currency called tokens. As to how you acquire said tokens, they didn't specifically say, but considering money is going directly to the teams from those tokens, I'm going to presume that you have to pay for them. But in a insane show of common sense, which doesn't apparently apply to the rest of the skins in the game, you could buy the one you want.
Whoa.
Whoa, what a concept. Incredible. Instead of randomly throwing money at loot boxes to maybe get the thing that you want, you could buy the exact skin that you want. And they're even going to give people a token to get their first one or whatever. There's some speculation that these tokens may also be given out for maybe watching a bunch of the Overwatch League on Twitch, etc., which would be a damn good way to improve the viewership, since outside of BlizzCon, the viewership has been pretty terrible for Overwatch tournaments. But the BlizzCon tournament might be indication that it's growing. And I think they were planning on starting the preseason this week, I believe. But
Jesse was tweeting all kinds of interesting stuff about the Philly team. Because the Philly
are they the
Philly
one
team-
that have had to completely pull out of the preseason?
Yeah. And was it just one of them that was like, "Hey, I quit high school for this"? Jesse was like,
Yeah, it was
"Why
a
the
South
fuck
Korean
are you
guy.
quitting high school for Overwatch?" That's so.
I mean, that's not that common in South Korea. Not that uncommon in South Korea. People,
I just think it's wrong.
well, yeah, it is. People did that for League. They did it for StarCraft. They did it for StarCraft back in the day, and for Brood War. The guy in question is South Korean, isn't he? Yeah. Yeah, he is. Can't remember his name, but
yeah, he's South Korean. I think a lot of the and I believe the reason why they had to pull out is because he couldn't get here. There's something wrong.
There was a visa issue.
Yeah.
I know that.
But the problem that I had, because everyone's like, well, people are allowed to decide their own decisions and like choose what they want to do with their own lives, which is absolutely true. I feel like the league, however, should know when to say no to people and choose people who they can like do this and not forego their I feel like it's a league responsibility too. If you're gonna create a game where all the heroes are smart people, to promote education and not be like, yeah, sure, this 16-year-old kid can come play in our professional league for the chance to make some money, and then if he doesn't, good luck, kid, because we don't give a fuck anymore. We're on to the next person. And that's how this league works so far, which is not cool.
I don't know how you could feel good about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I agree, actually. The thing is, we've seen the results of it because esports has been around in Korea for a long time, and we've seen what happens when these players have to go to the military or their hands are so fucked they can't play anymore. I mean, hell, I had a guy on my team. Yes, he was way past the education, age. Like I didn't bring a 16-year-old on the team or anything like that. But when the team closed down, what did he do for a job? I mean, he went and worked in a cafe because he didn't have higher education. He had no training for anything else.
Right.
And the mandatory military service over there does help in that respect. It offers career paths and also some practical training for certain things, but we've seen people get out of the military and get out of StarCraft as a game in South Korea and have no idea what to do with themselves.
And I mean, not to go all the way back to hour one of this show, I think that's what might wind up happening to some of these YouTube kids who are just like, I'm good. I don't need school. I've got YouTube. And I'm like,
and I think that's okay. What the fuck is the name of the book? Freakonomics. Go read the book Freakonomics. It's phenomenal. When I taught, it was
Also
like my
podcast.
go-tos, where I would literally have students in class read one of the chapters, and the chapter was something along the lines of what do football players and drug dealers have in common. Now maybe a little bit more than we thought, but before the premise was literally when young people see football stars, they only see the people who are like millionaires.
Yeah.
They don't see the many people who along the way get injured, make it maybe to college, don't make it professionally, the people who are benched in professional football, the guys who get paid not barely anything to go out there and like get their faces smashed in and shit, and then they only see the stars. Same with drug dealers. Everyone sees the fucking kingpins and the guys who are like raking the money. They don't see the street hustlers. They don't see all the dudes in prison. Like no one sees that, and they all think I'm going to be that. And the same thing applies with YouTube, Twitch, esports. Everyone's like, I'm gonna be the next faker or whatever the fuck. Like everyone believes that in their core. The problem is 99.9999999% of people, that shit ain't gonna happen. And like that's just life, because there can only be the one PewDiePie, right? There can only be one Markiplier. There can only be like, it doesn't matter, right? There can only be one lyric. The whole point is that everyone's struggling to get there, and the reality is that that's not the case. And follow your goddamn dreams all you want. Just accept the fact that like 10 years from now, you could be like, oh fuck, I probably should have stayed an extra year in school, right?
Well, it's like, what's my skill set and is it transferable? And the answer is often no. There are some people who've done okay switching from one esport to another, but that's still within a fairly limited ecosystem that's highly competitive. my mother said something to me when I went to uni. It's like, look, go get your degree and then go do whatever you want at that point, because at least you'll always have that to fall back on.
Yeah.
It is definitely concerning to see that, they're dragging some pretty young kids into this with promises of fame and fortune, and I have to wonder what's left for them if they bomb out.
And this is the thing about the Overwatch League is you have 18-year-old young men and women who are really excited to be a part of this growing thing that is untested, untried, going off the back of what I truly believe to be a love for a franchise, not the actual game. And like, there is a lot riding on this, and watching people give up doing things that can secure their future to have the opportunity for a chance to maybe make a ludicrous sum of money. But even then, when you look at the amount of money players actually make, I mean, let's say you're good. Let's say you're real good, and you have a 3 to 4 year career, and then something happens. I mean, maybe you're making like 70,000 a year, 100,000 a year, something like that. Like, after that, where you at? Like, you had 4 really fucking good years there. Now what? Like, what happens now? And that money can only last you so long, and you have your entire life ahead of you. And TV's right. Then you see people who are like, I work at a cafe now.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. It just comes down to he didn't have anything else to back him up. He didn't have another skill set that he could have then applied after having to leave the industry.
Right.
And there aren't that many spaces for like coach or trainer or like that. And there are already people, the amount of fighting that goes on to get a spot as a caster is like, there's so much going on to even get into that world. So if you think you're going to be a player, then somehow transition to another aspect of esports, good luck. Like, it's crazy.
I've seen plenty of people try it. It doesn't necessarily work. Throughout the 8-9 years I've been doing StarCraft, I've seen plenty of that happen.
And just for context to the people watching, if you don't know, both Jesse and TB have owned esports teams. So.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's part of the problem.
They're not talking out of their ass is all I'm saying.
When we,
okay.
There's I can tell you what became of all the people on my team, and we tried our best to help them, and some of them have done well as a result. Some of them haven't. Crank's doing fine. He was our team captain. We supported him by making sure he got casting gigs, by connecting him with Blizzard, by connecting his wife Olivia with Blizzard. They're involved directly in events that I run. They get paid to do the Korean side of things, the administration. They're doing fine. Ryung still plays competitively. He's the only one of them that does. Hart went to China to go to university. Thankfully, he was, of a good age and happened to have a contact through, I think, his uncle over there that allowed him to do that. I honestly don't know what Alicia does these days. Impact is still playing a little bit of StarCraft, but not doing brilliantly well and not really making any money doing it. And Maya, who we had on the team for quite a short amount of time, was last I checked, working in Family Cafe. And there's only so much you can do to help those players out. I wonder if you're going to set up a big infrastructure, because before all of this, esports has been a kind of Wild West. With Overwatch League, they're trying to legitimize as much as they can. That infrastructure surely should also include, and I don't know if it does, maybe it does, I just don't know that, support for these players if things don't go well. What happens if they get injured? They're on a salary. Yes, not a very big salary from what I've heard, but there is a salary.
Those are like workers' comp.
Workers' comp, health insurance, support afterwards to get into either other forms of education, other careers, or some kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Bloody hell. Vocational training. I don't know if there's any of that. I mean, hell, is there even any of that in the NBA, in the NFL? Does that even have any of that? I don't know. I mean,
I think once you've reached that level, you know, but I know exactly what you mean though, because there are all those people who like climb up, or people like below that, or going for the tryouts and things like that don't make it, and then it's what's your plan B, right? So
and to everyone in chat who's like, well, what about the Olympics, where a 14-year-old can go time out on that shit, because that's insane. The Olympics, you don't have the issue of like someone deciding the breaststroke is now an outdated thing because like you don't have breaststroke 2.0, like that the category of game will never vanish.
The water is now sand. We nerfed the water.
Consistently make money off of that. Soccer, not gonna fucking change. Like if you were a soccer player at 14, you can still be one at 30, right? Like it still can exist, and you can move on to the many other versions of that game, like leagues, and like you can actually coach and commentate. There's a million things out there. Your game is not going to vanish.
And if you become old and terrible, you can just go play in the United States. Hey.
And we'd love you. We'd love to have you. We'd be like, those guys were good back 20 years ago. Put them on the team.
Yeah. But to be fair, though, the Olympics comparison is a little dodgy because actually they do remove sports from the Olympics on a fairly regular basis.
But here's the thing. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was also going to say this is, again, coming from this base idea of like, well, but what if I got into the Olympics? And it's like, how many fucking people get into the Olympics?
That's true.
Are you kidding? Like, don't base your potential success on, but what if I got into the Olympics, though? It's like,
but this all comes down to the trivial, insane task of being an adult saying to someone young, don't follow, like, have a backup plan. When really you, just like they were like, I'm going to follow my dreams and I'm going to be a star. Like you can say it as much as you want. People aren't going to listen. They're still going to want to be that. No matter how much I say to chat, like that's insane to want to like try for that 0.1%. I'd be a hypocrite if I said I, like everyone else, wasn't like, I can do that shit. Right. But from experience, reality is that's the case. So like, I feel like it's the responsibility of the league to understand reality and try to mitigate as much bullshit as they can.
To some extent, yeah. Of course, there's a level of personal responsibility in there as well. Of course there is. But ultimately, if the league is built on the backs of these players, then the league definitely has some level of responsibility. I would like to know what that is, you know, because I've heard people in chat, apparently there was health insurance and support for that. That's great. It's just, this is the first, like, really huge attempt, and I'm saying this is even potentially bigger than the LCS, to legitimize this whole thing and make it a real career path, and yet it still seems like such a risky career path, even with that level of legitimization and financial backing behind it. Slowbeef, you had something.
These are relatively new industries, you know. If you look at like professional sports and things like that, there are like plan Bs that set up for people. There's like financial counseling people like brought up in chat and things like that. But this is still pretty young. And not only that, but like people, you get this bias because you see that 0.1% of person who like quit school to become a professional, whatever, and they made it, but you don't hear about like the people who don't, and then they don't have that, and then they have a problem getting back into school, et cetera, you know. It's there's a name for it. It's like some kind of like bias towards success or whatever when you see that kind of thing, and you're
survivorship
like,
bias,
something like something like that. Yeah, I know exactly right.
Definitely a bit of that involved. Yeah, I just you know they seem like they're trying to be like to really lead in a big way here, and I've said it before. I don't want Al to fail because I think if it does, it's going to have a very severe implication on the whole industry. As much as I don't really care about watching Overwatch, that going tits up would be very bad for everybody.
Well, yeah, when it was first announced, so many people were like, this could be the first step, or not the first step, but a big step toward, you know,
full-on legitimization.
Yeah, esports leagues being seen in a very legitimate light. But you're right, if it falls apart, then that's going to be a huge detriment.
The amount of money involved, if it falls apart, esports will never see that kind of buy-in again.
No.
The amount of money.
I mean, I think the buy-in is insane. I mean, at this point.
You wouldn't be able to convince anyone with a lot of money to invest in your like league ever again. Leagues would be done.
No. Yeah, I mean, you're totally right with that. And this is why I want that league to succeed, and I want it to lead by example when it comes to making sure that these players are well taken care of. The last thing you want is bad optics on anything regarding this, including, oh, great, this kid dropped out of high school to play a video game, failed miserably for whatever reason, or was kept out of the country because of his visa issues, or broke his hand, wasn't able to play, or in the case of the guy you were talking about from Philadelphia Fusion, he got banned for the first 30 games because he was boosting accounts on Overwatch. Like, he was boosting people's MMR up. So he already got banned for a stupid fucking thing he did outside of that. And I think the last thing you want, especially with media still being as goddamn hostile as it is to video games, is story of kid ruins his life over video game. That's a bad look. That's a very bad look.
And tons of media are looking for that, right? Because
of course they are.
They don't love this like new user-generated content media.
Why would they? It's in at least indirect competition with them. It's in competition for people's time.
Yeah,
that's the reality of it. So no, they don't like it. Why would they?
Right. So yeah. So do become a YouTube celebrity. You can do it, folks. Oh,
Jesus
Christ.
Never
mind. We take everything back.
Should be fine.
Not ignore all of this.
Do it. Fucking do it.
Oh, Christ. Rather obvious statement from the president of Take-Two. We don't view loot boxes as gambling because we can't force consumers to do anything. Oh, right. Okay.
When I go to Vegas, I usually put down more money with a gun to my head. They're absolutely right.
Yeah.
We're not forcing you to use slot machines.
Gambling addiction isn't real.
Fuck, why did I come in? Now I'm going to have to play
there was
slot.
somebody at the door forcing me to go to that slot machine. Right. I mean, they Take-Two made it clear a few weeks ago, like, we want to monetize everything. Bear in mind, the amount of money they've made off GTA Online is an obscene amount of money. They didn't use loot boxes to do it, but they did bloody well sell in-game items, which are powerful and take a shit ton of time to get, and GTA Online became a rich person's playground, basically. And then we look at the other stuff that Take-Two's publishing, and we think, right, they want to include recurrent consumer spending opportunities, that's their quote, from Strauss Zelnick, their CEO, in all of the games in the future. Doesn't specifically mean loot boxes, but they're definitely, when they talk about recurrent, they're talking about games as a service. They're talking about getting people to constantly come back and spend more and more and more money, which is an odd thing, actually, because it kind of flies in the face of what some of their games have been doing up to this point. Like, say, Civilization 6, for example, where there was an article a few weeks ago where Firaxis made it clear, for our games, expansion packs are the way to go. For XCOM, for Civilization 6, it's the right way to go. And then you get worried when you see a publisher say the polar opposite of that and say, oh God, what are they going to try and shove into games that we already like? What are they going to shove into Red Dead 2? What are they going to shove into their future big titles? It's not a good look, and when you see them already aggressively defending loot boxes as not gambling, it's totally not a problem, you think, right, well, I think I can clearly see what you're planning on doing then.
It's already becoming a legal issue. Like, stop. Like, stop.
We talked about this last week. This is the same kind of thought process that leads to, way too much government regulation, because it comes down to it like, well, look, it's not the corporation's job to tell people what to do. We don't tell them to buy poison water. We don't tell like you're like, right? And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's not how that should work at all. Like, have responsibility, but as long as you can make money, most corporations are not. They're gonna be like, no, fuck you. We have investors and we have people we need to pay. Like, we have a responsibility to do. It's just a fucked crazy thing. So yeah, when the more you start saying crazy shit, the more people are gonna be like, we need to regulate this, and then that leads to like way too many regulations. So it's just like a clusterfuck. This is gonna be a mess. Yeah. Get ready, kids. This is gonna be a mess.
Most likely.
Yeah. I'm predicting the next thing, because they do this on mobile, is like some hidden RNG stuff. You know, like if you ever see those King games, like that whole series, they'll do those things where it's like, oh, we'll let you win with the score, but there's you didn't win the level. Now
King's an interesting one because they basically sell extra lives.
Yeah,
like almost all of their games are built around the model of all of the content is free. It just gets to the point where the content is so fucking hard that if you want to play for longer than 5 minutes, you're going to have to buy extra lives. That's what Candy Crush was built on. That's what most of their successful games are built on. I wonder, like, do you view... Here's a question for around the room. How egregious a model do you view that as being? Because on the face of it, that actually doesn't seem that bad, does it?
Oh man, I could talk your ear off about it. But
please do. You have experience in this.
If you want to see it at its most naked, King has a game called Bubble Witch, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Bubble Witch is Bust a Move, that old Taito puzzle game where you like kind of do bank shots and hit gems, you know?
Yeah.
That's a skill-based game completely. What King did was they added an element to it. When the gems drop, they have to bounce around and land in a pot. So it's not enough
There's a random element
puzzle. You have to get as many in the pot so your points go up as high as possible. If they had left it alone, it was just a skill-based game, hey, fine. You had to do the fuel thing, you know, mobile marketplace being what it is. But they purposefully add that RNG element to say, you can't finish this. Even if you're a quote-unquote really good player, here's a random element we've hidden in it. And Candy Crush is the same way, and they just hide it. There'll be levels where it's like, this candy bomb goes off in 3 turns or you lose. Oh, maybe you do or don't get the right colors you need at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fair. I mean... It's the old school arcade model, isn't it? You're shoveling quarters into the damn thing. But it's interesting to... And I wonder how much of that was the old arcade model. How much bullshit was put into old arcade games on purpose to try and get more quarters out of people.
Were you at the office when Gerard bought the arcade cabinet that is in the lounge area?
I mean, I've seen it. I don't think I was there when it arrived.
Constantly rotates through games.
Yeah, so he bought this arcade cabinet that has like 400 games on it, and they're all old arcade games.
Okay.
And so over the course of however months we've had this thing, I played through a few of them, and they're games that I remember being really hard on the arcade and ones where you were like funneling in quarters trying to beat this thing. None of them are over an hour long.
Yeah.
They're all just you die 12 times a level scams to keep you pumping in quarters, and you think it's a challenge, but it's not really a challenge, because when you can just press continue, you realize that it's just like enemies and shit come out of nowhere and kill you, because that's how the game's designed to fuck you over. And it's like, oh my god, arcades were the biggest fucking scam of the world.
Sega was huge on this. If you ever play their old arcade, like House of the Dead 2, toward the end, it gets just insanely hard in the last level. They would have games where they'd let you continue until the last level, and then if you gamed over, you were right back to the beginning. So people would like go, okay, I gotta go do that whole journey again. You know? Dragon's Lair, that old one, there's a dip switch setting where you can actually, this is true, like you can look this up. There's a dip switch setting where if you play it, it'll just stop and say, please insert another 50 cents to continue, even if you didn't game over. And you can set that to happen 3 times in a single game.
Wow.
Yeah. I encountered it in the wild, like happened once, but
in the wild.
Dragon's Lair was, I mean, there was quite a lot of guesswork in that game, wasn't there? Outside of the reaction stuff.
It was, I mean, once you could memorize where to go, and all they would do is like flip the video. So sometimes you went left instead of right, you know, but like you could eventually like get it down, you know, but it was typically more expensive because it was that like laser disc game and all that. And then, yeah, there is this like setting where it was just like, nah, just make him give us 50 more cents. That's that.
Oh, there you go.
We were playing Michael Jackson's Thriller. Hilarious game if you can find it. It is amazing. At the beginning of every level, he's like, no, I think it's called Moonwalker.
Oh, yeah, Moonwalker. Like, oh, Jesus, yeah.
At the beginning of every level, it's so good. He power-ups when he finds bubbles and becomes a robot. It's amazing. But that game is 4 stages long. I remember when I played it in the arcade, spending a whole day with friends playing that shit. And like, we beat it in maybe 45 minutes on like a Sunday here in the office. I was like, holy fuck, what a Michael Jackson ripped my ass off. It was crazy. I was blown away.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with the pay-to-play model, like old coin-op arcades, you know, or anything where it's upfront of you're going to play a video game, skills involved. If you lose, you can continue, or maybe not, or whatever. But like, I don't like the hidden stuff where it's like, okay, we're suddenly going to ramp up difficulty to kind of obviously get, you know, quarters out of your pocket. Or like I said, the king stuff where it's like there's a hidden RNG element where this is not about skill at all, actually.
And there's this is game. I mean, this is one of the big problems that I have with loot boxes in general, is that we know for a fact that loot box odds have been manipulated. We know about something called the pity timer, for instance, whereby after a certain number of openings where you haven't got anything of a certain rarity, the game will spit something out at you. I think it's like, depends on the game, but it's like an ever-increasing chance until it eventually hits that, and then the pity timer resets. But simultaneously, it's also entirely possible, and there's been some pretty solid evidence that companies do this, where they actively manipulate the odds. Depending on the tendencies of the player, they deliberately fuck whales over by lowering their chance of getting a certain thing or a certain rarity, you know, with gacha games in particular. That, to me, is the most egregious part of it, because you compare that to gambling and the way that gambling is regulated. The odds have to be clearly displayed and can't be fucked with, because that's illegal. But you're having to trust these companies that they will not fuck with the odds, which, by the way, you don't know what the odds are in the first place. You can only guess. Yeah,
all of these games are online now. They could be doing all kinds of crazy shit under the
hood they do
at any time.
Yeah, totally.
Why would they not? Like, unless it got out and made a huge scandal, how would you know? How the fuck would anybody know?
Yeah.
There was one recently they got kind of caught out doing that. And I
thought it was the Dragon Ball one, wasn't it?
Was that it? Yeah, I think you might be right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like on Reddit. I forget. I read about it now, but yeah, I forget now, but yeah.
Then, yeah, they're like, they're not a provably fair system. It's, you know, when you've got China saying you have to disclose the odds, and then some companies trying to avoid that and dodge it, you're like, well, why? So why are you trying to dodge that? Like, does that mean there's something under the hood where you're actually manipulating those odds?
Right.
And you don't want people to know about that? Because that's a concern.
Even then, you'll see the fact that when companies do show you the odds of getting the thing you want are like 0.05%. And you're like, oh, that's a shit ton of money. And that's without any hidden algorithms and crazy under the hood shit that they're keeping from you. Like, that's just them saying, no, it's very, very rare. So if you want this, you're gonna have to give us a lot of money.
Right.
Of course they don't want people to know that stuff. Imagine the things that are hidden.
Man, you go back through all the digital sort of stuff you bought, whether it be card packs for a game or loot boxes or whatever, and you think, was one of those companies fucking me? Like, outside of the obvious fucking of I'm paying money for digital goods because I'm a fucking idiot, were they fucking me more in a way that I wasn't aware of at the time?
It's interesting because we've gotten much more accepting of the concept of it in terms of when I was doing the Lego stream with Octo, we were laughing about how he like got super into Naruto online. And he was like admitting how much money he had spent on it, and everybody was like, "Oh, that's not that much, though." And it's like, but too much is going to be different for everybody, right? So,
and
like,
even if
you can say, "I spent hundreds of dollars on this game trying to get a character," and for the most part, people would be like, "It's only in the hundreds. It's not that bad."
I mean, I even look back at it and like in many cases, outside of Hearthstone, which made me a ton of money and buying cards, and that was an investment because I was getting the money back from the streams and the YouTube videos, etc. When I look at fucking the amount of money I dropped on Clash Royale or on Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, I'm like, I'm a fucking stupid person. I'm a stupid person. And it's brought into perspective when stuff like Marvel Heroes shuts down and all those items disappear forever.
Right.
But everybody is. It's like a proven thing, especially with like loot boxes and anything that's like that Skinner box thing. If you randomize the chance that something's going to happen, people keep hitting the button, you know?
Because it's a thrill.
Yeah,
it's a fucking thrill. You feel it. There's no doubt that I've chased that. Without question, you know? It just happens to be, thankfully, I had enough, disposable income for that not to be an issue, but we know what happens with people that don't. That's called gambling addiction. Gambling is inherently addictive. And all of these loot box experiences are made to be exciting to open. Lights and sounds, the way that the experience is crafted is down to a T. It's down to a fucking science.
It really is. It like literally is. It's all like marketing stuff that like people have studied and say we found this is the sound effect kind of thing that like makes
this is what works
back and all that. Yep.
This is what's satisfying. This is what makes people want to do more. Well, we'll see what happens with that and whether or not there's any movement on the government front. But people are getting awfully defensive about it. Like, yeah, I don't necessarily blame you, but it sounds like you're trying to get your ducks in a row before a government agency comes along and says, "Oh, what you've been up to here then? What's going on with this?"
Yep.
All right. I think that's pretty much the news for this week, unless anybody else happened to have seen anything this week that blew their mind.
A deer with a raccoon tail actually.
Wow, that is exciting.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, that was a bit mind blowing. I'll give you that. Also, just because it's awesome, official Amaterasu courier for Dota 2 is on the workshop. Just saying, that's pretty great.
Oh yeah, Mega Man 11.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, they're going to bring all the Mega Man games to the Switch because why not? Money. And announcement of Mega Man 11.
Yeah.
And there's currently a rumor floating around that a Dark Souls 1 remaster is coming to Xbox One, PS4, and Switch. Portable Dark Souls.
Whoa.
That would sell well, I think. All right. Let's look at releases then. If you're a Switch owner, there's actually a lot digitally coming out at any rate. Quite a significant amount. I'm going to pop the release list over here and bring up what we got. There's a few things worth your attention, as much as it sounds like most things are junk, because, well, they are. If we have a look at releases, one we talked a little bit about earlier, 9 Parchments is out today. That is $20, available on Switch and on PC. Again, very much recommended as a co-op game. Worth a look-see from what we've seen. Slowbeef, you found one called Boiling Bolt, I believe.
How could I turn up a name like Boiling Bolt or turn down? Yeah, it looks like I've been talking about shmups all friggin' day, but it looks like it's one of those, but it has a sort of time slowing mechanic to help you do combos and things like that. So that actually looked pretty cool, I thought.
Oh yeah, it actually looks pretty neat. Some good stuff. Outside of that, on PC, there's really not much today, but on console, Dead Rising 4 Frank's Big Package on the PS4, so that's kind of Game of the Year edition of that. Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition on PS4. Switch, big releases. This is the Police coming to Switch. Caveman Warriors and 9 Parchments, as we mentioned. And Boiling Bolt is also coming to PS4, along with Let Them Come and Steep Winter Games Edition from Ubisoft. So, some stuff for console. December 6th is the early access release of Riot Civil Unrest. I'll be interested to see what other people think of that.
Yeah.
And what they're going to figure out tutorial-wise as to how to properly teach you how to play that game. Because, like I said, as the Rioters, I just didn't know what I was doing. Finally, I thought this game had been out for a while. I guess not on Steam anyway. Getting Over It, which is the game that has been frustrating streamers for the past few weeks.
Yeah, was that just in a beta or something?
I think maybe
it came with a monthly Humble bundle. You couldn't get it anywhere else.
All week people were like, play it on Fan Friday, and I've never been so happy it wasn't released yet. I was like, oh, it doesn't exist yet.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
It looks absolutely dreadful. I mean, I've seen people play it, and some people are into the whole frustration, bang your head against the wall kind of thing. I would rather stick pins and needles in my eyes than play this stupid fucking thing. Frankly, no. Absolutely not.
The game that I dinged on this day is called Heroes of Myths, Warriors of Gods. And it's sort of tower defense-y, it looks like.
It's a typical war game.
Yeah, you're like constantly putting it's side scrolling, you're constantly like putting dudes that you can afford out, and they like try to fight back the horde, basically. So that looks like it might be kind of a nice mindless game.
Yeah, I played quite a few of those on mobile. They're a good time waster. Jesse pointing out the release of A Hat in Time on PS4 and on Xbox One.
Yo, the fact that it's on consoles is so cool. Get on that shit. It's a good game, y'all. It's great that it's not just on PC. Yes, being on PC is awesome, but like, this is a game that I feel like deserves to be on consoles and probably
kind of belongs on there, right?
Yeah.
It's not out on Switch yet, right? Or is it?
I don't know.
Seems like it bloody well should be.
Right.
It certainly seems like a Switch game. I've got to check that now. It's like, I could swear it was. Nope. Could be appearing on Switch in the future. God, that seems like such an obvious thing. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Outside of that, Switch is getting WWE 2K18. Oh, God. Even as a wrestling fan, that fucking game. God damn.
Yeah, you weren't a fan of that, were you?
Well, the main problem with it is they decided to do the progression in My Career mode through fucking loot boxes. So it's all randomized bullshit, like random shirts, random trunks, random punches. Like, it's that. No, just, they're all in the game that you don't buy them, but it's a terrible way to do progression in anything. So no, bullshit. Don't recommend. Jack 2, 3, and Jack X all coming to PS4. Chaos and Deponia coming to PS4 as well. Big release, in my opinion, on December 7th that at least me and Dodger should be looking forward to.
New Reigns game.
Reigns Her Majesty on December the 7th. That'll be on PC and I believe on iOS device as well. Great game for your phone. Fantastic game for your phone. Highly recommended. If you haven't played the first one, you really fucking should. It's just really...
listen to your satanic dog and just,
do what the satanic dog tells you to do. Simple as that. Again, a huge amount more stuff on Switch. Human Fall Flat, Teslagrad, Phantom Breaker, Battlegrounds Overdrive, Red Game Without a Great Name, Slain Back from Hell, which is great, by the way. Used to be a shit game, now not bad at all. They improved that drastically. A few Neo Geo games, Riptide's coming there, and Sexy Brutal, which is fucking great and highly overlooked this year, is coming to Switch.
Coming out on Switch.
Yeah, it's a good place to do that.
I've heard good things about Human Fall Flat, too, but I haven't played it yet.
Haven't played it yet. I think I saw Northern Lion and his crew playing at some point. They seem to be big into it.
Oh, never mind then.
Pass, hard pass.
Indeed. Yeah, well, you can't trust people that don't win the Champions of Fire tournament. November 8th. Jesse, this is yours.
Oh, on December 8th, Hello Neighbor.
Oh, so yeah, you're right. December 8th. I apologize.
Hello Neighbor is coming, and this is the game that I'm sure you probably saw a lot of people playing demos of, where you have a crazy ass neighbor, and it's a stealth horror game about sneaking into your neighbor's house and figuring out what's going on with that dude because he's up to no good. It's pretty interesting. There's been a lot of really funny videos about it, but yeah, it actually exists now for real people to play.
Dodger, why?
Lobster Empire. You build your lobster business.
This thing kept being delayed. Like, I see this on the release list every week.
One day it's going to come out. It looks like it would be fun. One day it's going to come out, and I'm going to
It is a lobster tycoon game. I mean, it does actually look pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
I have to admit that.
How did we miss it? There's a game called Weed, and that's just all it's called.
Oh, I saw it.
I think we deliberately ignored it.
Yeah,
oh, I saw it.
Yeah.
Tokyo.
It's just, yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus is coming to PC, which is a big Falcom action RPG thingy, which looked pretty neat. I know it was on Vita initially, I think. So they're bringing it to PS4 and PC, so a pretty obscure game that most people wouldn't have got to play. Some people have compared it to Persona in some respects. I know that. People seem to like it quite a bit. It's interesting. It looks intriguing. I might give it a shot.
I had Tenta Shooter selected on December 9th, and then I went through more of the screenshots, and I was like, you know what? Never mind.
No,
Never mind.
I like the description.
The bullet hell like video stuff of it. I was like, yeah, this looks like the type of bullet hell I could get super into. And then I saw some more of the screenshots.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, never mind.
Have you actually
Oh
read?
yeah, okay, there they are.
Everyone's favorite tentacle-themed arcade-style bullet hell shooter is now on Steam.
Everyone's favorite.
Everyone's favorite.
I think the last thing I noticed on here that's worthy of a look on December 9th, and then there's a few more on December 11th. Loco Roco 2 Remaster's coming to PS4.
Nice.
I don't know what you can remaster about Loco Roco, really, other than, you know, it was in low resolution on the PSP, so I guess you could upscale it. Loco Roco's great, though. December the 11th.
Yeah, I got 3 on here.
What you got?
The first one is Wands, which is a VR magic dueling game.
That's neat.
Yeah, it reminded me of the game that Jesse had described to us a while back, but he said it's not the same game, but this looks awesome to me.
Yeah, it's got potential.
Yeah. The next one is Naughty Elves.
Why?
I don't know, because it's a puzzle game where your elves are fucking up, I guess. So
They're naughty.
knock those elves out and get Christmas going. And then the last one, I was like, what the fuck is called The Strange Thing? It's literally a Stranger Things spoof in a racing game. And I was like,
Ha.
what? So I just wanted
Is this official?
that together.
Because, well, I don't think it's official because the trailer has a Fraps benchmark little thing on it. So probably not.
Also, I think if it was official, it would just have this like Stranger Things.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Yes.
I'm
going to go with yes.
The Strange Thing.
Yes, that does not look official at all.
Mm. There you go.
Yeah,
this week
that's
was
pretty
the
much
shit
it.
show. So
Yeah, not much out this week, honestly. But if you have a Switch, then there's actually quite a lot of choice for you. So you might want to have a look at that. Play the Sexy Brutal. It's fucking great. It's very unique. You won't play anything like it. Trust me. I think that's about it, really. Thank you very much for watching the Co-optional Podcast. Big thanks to our sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace.com/cooptional for 10% off your first order and a free trial. Jesse, what's going on this week? What you got?
Man, I have all sorts of stuff happening this week, but most of it involves me harassing Dodger into some more time with our 2 sweethearts in Arcadia Bay, and then some Scary Game Squad stuff is coming, so look for that.
All right, then. Dodger, what you got?
hi guys, you can find me at Dex Bonus on pretty much everything. Yeah, we'll see if Jesse and I can find time to play more of The Letter this week. I'm doing Vlogmas this month, so if you've been like, Dodger, what's going on your YouTube channel? Nothing's been going up. I'm putting up daily vlogs this month, so I've been harassing everybody in my life and they're already sick of me, so enjoy that. And Jesse's like, true, fact. Yeah, check out my coffee company, please. You can find it at dodgercoffeeco.com. I swear that it's delicious.
It's too much coffee for me. Can't handle it.
Nonsense.
Mr. Slowbeef, thank you very much for coming on the show today. Where can we find you and what can we expect over the next week or so?
Thank you for having me. So you can find me on twitch.tv/slowbeef and the same on YouTube. I'm doing a thing called Visual Novel Book Club with a few friends where we read through visual novels and discuss it book club style. We're currently doing Danganronpa V3, actually. This month, really, I've been going to be playing a lot of like Japanese PS1, PS2 stuff, things like Crazy Taikatsu, Let's Go Hawaii, and then for the Kojima fans, like Snatcher and Police Knots and different platforms than the English releases. So fun stuff like that.
Very
cool.
cool.
And for I also have a channel, Retsupurae, RATSUPURAE, because I'm terrible at marketing.
Nobody can fucking spell that.
No, I'm an idiot. But so we're finishing up Jack Orlando, and then we're hopefully gonna have a surprise for some of the longtime fans coming later.
Lovely.
Or next week.
As for what's going on the channel this week, honestly, don't really know. Depends on whether or not my throat has healed by then. I've been sucking down throat lozenges pretty much the entire show to avoid too much croak. The hope is, if it's fine by Thursday, to do the riff session on the Game Awards, which is happening, which is such a wonderful show with nothing wrong with it whatsoever. What could we possibly find fault with? But they're allowing co-streaming on Twitch. It'll be myself and Jen doing that. Kind of just like our E3 Snarkathon stuff. There should be a Shoutcraft tournament this month. It just depends on when. Don't have the date for that yet. What we do have is the new merch store. If you haven't already checked it out and you want to guarantee delivery before Christmas, I say guarantee. You may still get it before Christmas if you order later, but I'm not guaranteeing it. Head on over to TotalBiscuit.shop. That is TotalBiscuit.shop. That is where you will find it. And if you order within the next 2 days, this is from Tuesday. If by the time this goes up on Thursday, it will be too late. You should be guaranteed it before Christmas. Those who had problems with the shipping, that's been fixed. There's no double charging anymore. So that's all sorted out. And hopefully this week, we're going to be launching long sleeve shirts as well. Because apparently people wear those, and I was not aware of that. So, yes, we will do that. Makes sense when I think about it, considering it's cold. Yes, that does make a good degree of sense. Outside of that, the 12th and the 19th, the next two episodes of the Co-optional podcast, will be the Co-opties, which is our fake made-up award show, where we come up with ludicrously arbitrary, silly categories that we will fill with probably the one game that inspired it, and then see if we can come up with anything else that'll fit in it. Probably not, is the simple answer to that. But it'll be our yearly end of the year roundup thingy. To remind us of all the good games that we didn't bother playing this year. Thank you very much for watching the Co-optional podcast, folks, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.